Go time. What I'd love for you guys to do to start us off is jump in the chat and let everyone know where you're coming from, where you're logging in from, where you work. This is not just an opportunity for us to get the chat going, but it's really a great opportunity for people to know who you are throughout our time together, so that if they have someone that might need to sell or to buy in your area, guess what? They can reach out to you. So what city are you in? What state are you in? While that's happening, obviously Mike is here. I see you right here. Slides are going to be up on the screen over here, and my computer, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but it is right down here. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking closer at my computer, and otherwise that's about it. We are good to go. Now I see Terry Kelly already has her hand up. I believe Kelsey or Amy already has their hand up. So why don't we jump in? Kelsey, go for it. What's up? Let's go quick and answer these questions, and then we'll jump into getting started.
It's not me. Amy, do you have a question?
Amy, do you have a question? No, Amy's just putting her hand up. She just likes what it feels like. It's just like, hey, look at me. My name's Amy. Hi. All right. So Amy, go ahead and drop your hand. Just hit the hand button again. Terry, what do you got for us? Yep, I see your hand again, Terry. Did you do that by accident, Terry? Just give me a...
I'm just used to us having to have our hand up when we get on here. My bad. I'm sorry.
All good. All good, all good, all good. Okay, guys, we are getting started. It is official. Let's have some fun. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to pull these slides up. I want you guys to be a part of everything we're doing and how we're doing it. I am pretty excited about today, because today is going to be a very different side of coaching. It's going to be a very, very, and I mean incredibly different perspective on business planning. I promise you, this will not be that traditional business planning session that you might be used to. I promise you that this will not be something that you are just going to go over numbers, because what I understand is that numbers are cool, but they don't mean anything if they don't work. So stay tuned. We are going to get rolling. So if you don't know who I am, well, I mean, you're here, so maybe somebody invited you here and you're just not sure why you're even here. Let me share something with you. My name is Phil Gerdes. I am the founder of the Gerdes team and Shift Immersive Coaching. And the reason we are here today is to participate in a very, very different business planning session. We are here to dive in, have some fun, but at the same time, work together. One thing I want everyone to know, this is absolutely, positively not, and I want to stress this, this is not a lecture. I cannot stress that enough. This is a business planning session workshop. And what that means is, as more and more people come on, we'll what is it called? Introduce them or say hi to them and things like that. But that's not the only talking that we're going to be doing. We're going to work together to workshop through your business. And if we're going to work together to workshop through your business, what that means is you've got to be willing to dive in, be honest, talk about the things that you need to talk about, want to talk about, and what's going to help you build and grow your business. So I have tons of notes right here. And I mean tons of notes, because we have 3 hours together. We're going to hit 6.5 phases of building out our business. That's right, 6.5 phases of building out our business. And one thing that I really want everyone to know is that while we're going to take 6.5, but we're going to take some time and build out 6.5 phases of our business, what we are not going to do under any circumstances, I can't stress this enough, is we are not going to sit back with our cameras off and lose sight. We've got 3 hours to build it all. And we're not just going to do it the old school way. We're not just going to do it, the way that a lot of people do, where they just say, let's talk about our numbers and that's it. Because if you're anything like me, you've probably spent some time watching folks spend hours and hours and hours to build out business plans. And they write all these notes, they fill in their notebooks, they do all this stuff. And then when it's said and done, what do most people do? Absolutely nothing. They never look at those plans again. And the reality is, if they do look at the plans again, they don't look at them again beyond the first 1 or 2 weeks of the year. That doesn't work. And I am a absolute firm believer that the reason why that doesn't work is because we don't make our business plans real to life. That's right. We don't make our business plans real to life. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to build out business plans that are true and real to our life. So in an effort to make this work faster and better, I want to know, show me your hands, give me a little wiggle. If you can see my screen, you should see 2026 business planning shift. This is your shift. Give me a little shake if you can see that. Let me see who you are. Yes, beautiful. I just really like to see if I can convince you guys to give me a shake. Now, if you can't see it, I need to know. So can anyone not see it?
Nope, cannot see it. You're not sharing.
You cannot see it. What
We only
is
see
going
your
on?
shiny forehead.
Well, my shiny forehead's absolutely beautiful, Terry. Thank you very much. So let's try that again.
I didn't say it was. I just said that's all we see. See?
But you left
Yeah,
that part out, Terry. You left that part out, and I need to hear it.
You're good now. We see it.
Thank you. Boom. We see it now. All right. So then now I need to shake. So give me the shake. If you can see it, let me see the shake. Thank you very much. That's what I was looking for. All right. So in an effort to get going here, what we're going to do is we are going to, and guys, this is super, super important. I'm just going to throw up this Instagram QR code. Everyone grab your phone, because while we're doing this, the first thing we want to think about is if we're going to build a business, we want people to know that we actually build our business on the back end. We don't just go out and post just listed, just sold. We don't just show houses. We build our business on the back end. And if we're going to build our business on the back end, well, then guess what that means? That means we need to tell the world that we are building our business. So here's the ask. What I'm going to ask you guys to do is, number one, scan the QR code. That's first. Scan the QR code. Number two, make sure you're following me. And then throughout our session today, all I'm going to ask is that you get content. Don't just shoot content and then throw it up on your Instagram. Shoot content and then add some text in there about something that you're doing, something that's working, really maybe a highlight that you pulled from your time in the session together. And here's the reason you're going to do that, because the second ask is that you tag me when you do it. Why do I want you to tag me when you do it? Because somebody, we're going to randomly select, and I'll go on IG and let you know who it's going to be. But we're going to randomly select someone, and that person, it's only the people that follow and tag, is going to get a Shift tote bag. You're going to get a Shift notebook, and you're going to get a Shift water bottle. That's right. We're going to send you all this stuff. So we want to make sure that you scan the code, you hit the follow, and then you run from there. Now, I can still see people are putting their hands up, and I love you. I don't know what questions you could possibly have so far, but Maria, why don't you, I see your hand up, and I'm not sure if you mean to do that or not, but Maria, go ahead and pull your, yeah, you put your hand down, didn't you? Yep. Maria was like, I never meant to do it. It was a total accident, and that's okay. So again, if you haven't yet, jump in the chat and let's make sure that we are, let's make sure that we are letting everyone know what city we're in and what state we're in. All right. So now at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to jump right in. Here's the thing though, guys. There's something you should know about me in this exact moment. And I see people putting in their city and states, and that's absolutely awesome. So I'm going to let you guys do that, but I'm going to share something about me. I am incredibly ill right now. And I mean, next level ill, like holy smokes, shaking sick. It's absolutely crazy. But sometimes you all know that we got to buckle down and do the work. We got to show up and get it done. So I've got a gallon of water over here. I've got a glass of water over here. I've got some tea over here. Like, I'm doing everything I can to keep it together, and I know you will too. So I want you guys to help me as we go. And the way you're going to help me as we go is you're going to stay locked in 100%. All right, so let's get this party started. What are we doing? Most of the time when we do business plans, what most people do is they say, well, you know what? Dude, let's go over our numbers. Like, how much money do you want to make? How many deals do you want to sell? How much volume do you want to hit? Guys, we are going to absolutely, positively, 100% not start there. The reason we're not going to start there is because I've come to realize that many folks get really excited at the new year and they create what I call pipe dream goals. Pipe dream goals are goals where you say, hey, I want to do all this or all that. And they don't really have a reason or a cause or an intention behind why. So before we get started in anything, how about we build that out? How about we build out the reason, the cause, the intention behind why? So the first question, or the first thing I want you to think about is, what is your end game? And guys, if you don't have somewhere to take notes, I need you to know you're going to need to take notes. Like, this is massive when it comes to the notes and the activities that you're going to do throughout. I'm not going to do it on the screen for you. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to give you guys time to build out certain things, and we're going to really not rush through this. We're going to take our time to win together. So with that said, first question, or first topic is, what's your end game? But with that, I want you to define, and I'm looking at my notes here, I want you to define your ultimate mission and personal vision. I want you to define your ultimate mission and personal vision. And don't worry, as I'm talking, you're writing. I'm going to keep giving you time. I'm going to make sure that you guys have the availability to do all this. But what is your ultimate mission? And as an activity step here, what I want you to think about is, how do you articulate it in one sentence or less? Why? Why do I want you to articulate it in one sentence or less? Well, the reason is quite simple. What I have found is that the more that we spend time trying to write out our ultimate mission and we use our mind, the longer it gets and the less we stay focused on it. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is think from your heart and ask yourself, when it's all said and done, what is your ultimate mission for your life? This is not a business play. We are not talking about business. I do not care in this moment. You should not care in this moment how many homes you sell in 2026. In fact, we're not even talking about 2026 yet. What we're talking about is, when it's all said and done, what's that ultimate mission? What's your end game? What are you working for? If you've coached with me, you know that oftentimes when we think about sellers, we talk about how, or buyers, we talk about how we need to think about what they're moving for. And in this case, I want to treat you, and I want you to treat you like the client. I want you to ask yourself, what is your ultimate mission? What are you building for in life, not in business? I'm going to ask you guys to really think about what you truly want. I'm going to ask you guys to really think about that end game and ask yourself questions like, hey, when I'm done, right? When it's all said and done, when I'm done, how will I know that I achieved what I really want? Because sometimes we write stuff down and we don't know, like, how do I know I did it? How do I know I won? What's that finish line? What does it actually look like? When we run a 5K or something like that, we know what the finish line looks like. So what does your finish line look like when it comes to what you're building for in life? I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to give you guys a second, and I'm going to allow you to write that down. And while you're writing it down, what I'd love for you to do is, like, really dive in. But at the same time, I'm going to ask that if you realize that, hey, this is more than just a sentence, then you need to rework it. Like, this isn't an opportunity for you to say, it's okay, no one will know that I'm making mine 4 paragraphs long. Well, you will. So we're not looking for the long drawn out. We're looking for what you're doing it for. What is your end game? I'm going to give you guys about 60 more seconds to do that. I see people writing. I see people thinking. I see people looking up, saying, is he going to make me go? I see some people thinking to yourself right now. I can imagine you're probably saying, well, I have no freaking clue, Phil. Like, I don't know what the end game is. I don't know where I'm going or why I'm going there or how I'm going to get there. Well, that means that we need to take a little more time for you. We got about 15 more seconds left. We got to take a little more time for you to really think about, what are you doing this for in the first place? A lot of you guys, you've spoken to me in the past, and you know, like, I've got a clear, clean mission. I've got a clear, clean vision of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and how much time we have to get it done, and the whole deal. What is yours? But sometimes what we do is we decide we're going to get a job and we just work for the sake of working. But that's not what this is, right? This is an opportunity for you to not have a job, but instead for you to build a business. But what's the point of building a business if you don't know what you're building it for? Now, many of you by now should have that end game. You should have that sentence. So I'm going to give you another challenge. What I'd love for you to do right now is to think in your mind about, In one sentence or less, what's life look like 10 years from now? 2036. Now, when you're writing out what life looks like 10 years from now, I want to remind you that we are not talking about business. If you make reference to business, then you're missing the beat. We are not talking about business. We have the end game, but 10 years from now, what does life look like? I want you to take some time, think about that. And I want, while you're doing that, I'd love for you to understand that I get that when you really run through this activity, it's not easy, right? It's not easy to write something down that is true. It's not easy to write something down that you've actually thought about, especially when you came into a business planning session and no one ever told you, hey, guess what? You're going to have to ask yourself some serious questions that for some of us are going to be some hard questions. So 10 years from now, 2036, we are talking on the phone and you're like, hey, Phil, man, this is crazy. I am fill in the blank. Where are you? What does life look like? Where's your family? What does your family's life look like? What are you doing for New Year's? Are you setting another resolution hoping that it works? Or are you so far ahead on your mission that you wrote today that you're celebrating a new year because you are celebrating a 10-year intention? People look at me and they talk to me about, hey, Phil, man, how do you have this set goal? Well, I have this set goal because 25 years ago, I made a decision that this is what I was going to do. And I'm just a firm believer, and I know you can do this too, that if I set a goal and set my mind to achieve that goal, then the only thing that can stop me is me allowing something else to stop me. In other words, it's me. So 10 years from now, what does life look like? I'm going to give you guys 30 more seconds to knock that out. $15 seconds. Okay, beautiful. Time's up. I hope you got it. All right, so now you're thinking, holy smokes, dude, like 10 years from now, I really got it. Or someone else is of the side where you're saying, you know what, I have no freaking clue what 10 years from now looks like. Well, if you know what 10 years from now is going to look like, you're on the right path. If you don't know, the next step's going to be a little hard for you. Because the next activity, the next action I'd like you to take is in one sentence or less, I want you to write what life looks like 5 years from now. 2031. We're celebrating the new year. It's 2031. What does life look like? I'm going to give you guys about a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes to put that down. But while you're doing this one, here's the thing I would love for you to do. I see Cassie deep in thought. I absolutely love it. Here's the thing I'd love for you to do when we're thinking about this one. I'd love for you not to cheat your way through the next 5 years by writing a slimmed down version of the next 10 years. I'd love for you to, oh man, Kelsey smiled. I have a funny feeling you just did that. I'd love for you not to cheapen your way through it. I'd love for you to take this next minute, minute and a half to really ideate over what does life look like 5 years from now. You're going to hear me say this later, but I got to tell y'all, it absolutely has always in my entire business career blown my mind when people say, I want, but do not gain clarity on what that want is. It blows my mind. I remember when in a previous business, a mentor of mine said, hey, Phil, when do you want to get promoted to this position? And my answer, like the standard answer was, I want to get promoted next year. My answer was, I want to get promoted on insert day of the week, date, time, down to the second. Sometimes we're not intentional enough with what we want, and then we wonder why other people are successful when we are not. And then if we could get behind them and actually look at the work they do before the work, we'd realize that they don't take the work for granted. This is actually your opportunity to not take the work for granted. And if you realize you've been taking the work for granted, stop taking the work for granted. The next 5 years from now, what does life look like? Now, as you're doing this, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make a shift here for our last step in this one. I want you guys to think about, well, did the next 5 years put me in a position to reach the following 5 years? That 10-year that I wrote, that one sentence 10-year? Because if the next 5 years didn't put you in a position to take advantage of the next 10, oh, we're in trouble. But let's go to the next activity. I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes for this one. I promise you this will be the simplest one to mess up. I promise you without question, this will be the simplest one to mess up because this is just too darn easy. In one sentence or less, what does life look like 1 year from now? What does life look like 1 year from now? I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes for that, and I'm going to share an astounding truth with you. There's this saying, I don't know it by heart. I'm probably going to beat it up. I'm not good at it. But there's this saying that's like people underestimate or overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10, something like that. I'm a firm believer that most people underestimate what God told them they can do in 1. This is your opportunity to draw out what life looks like 1 year from now. But guys, here's the thing I want you to think about. If you have the choice, if you have the paint, if you have the brushes, if you have the canvas, why not paint? Why not get hyper freaking detailed, hyper granular? Why not paint the exact picture you want? Is it because someone told you that that can't be done in a year? I remember my first year in real estate, everyone told me you should be happy if you get a couple sales in. And I said, not a freaking chance. I want to be number one. I finished the year as the rookie of the year for my entire company, over 2,200 agents. It never happened in my entire region. The company was 45 years old at the time, and it never happened in my entire region that the number one rookie came from where I lived. And the point is, you know, that year as a solo agent, I was able to sell 38 homes. And the reason for that is because I didn't say a year from now, I want to be where they told me I could. I said a year from now, I'm going to be right freaking here. And everyone that said that's too lofty, that's probably not going to happen, man, you should pump the brakes. What I did was I said to myself, I'm going to let them love me from a distance. I don't need to separate myself from them, but I'm just going to let them love me a bit from a distance. Now you might be saying to yourself, man, like why aren't we going into the numbers? Well, the answer is actually pretty darn simple. The answer of why we're not going into the numbers yet is pretty darn simple. And it's because what are we doing this for in the first place? Like, you're not actually working for the sake of working, are you? Did somewhere along the lines with the joy of real estate and all the stresses that real estate that brings you, did you fall into the trap of just thinking, go get the next deal? You said, oh man, I want to be in this industry in the first place. So we got to figure out, like, what are we doing? Why are we doing it in the first place? And we have to get granular, but we can't overextend our explanation because that just becomes fluff. And there's no fluff in Shift. You guys know that. If you're a current coaching client, you absolutely know for sure that fluff is not in my active vocabulary. Now, one thing I'd love for you guys to know, because we now have our end game. And by now you should have your 10-year, your 5-year, and your 1 year. But I wrote something. And it was that I want you to understand and recognize that this process can change, because now we need to dispel a myth. We need to dispel a myth. And that myth is very, very simple. Once you write it down and once you tell people about it, if you change it, you have failed. What a load of dog doo-doo. If you change it, you have failed. Life is full of change. If you change it, you recognize that you have changed, and that's okay. Look, guys, recognize that the process can change. And the reality is the destination might evolve a little bit, but the core mission has to stay authentic. So I want you to write these 3 words down, because we're going to be living in this space, and I'm going to invite you to live in this space, and I'm going to invite you to participate with me here in a moment. The 3 words, someone's already written them down. I just know it. I know someone, I haven't even said what the words are, but someone's already written them down. They are number 1, authentic. We are not here to pretend anything. We are about 100 people here together today saying, you know what, this is a safe place for me to say, you know, man, I'm just going to be true to myself. I'm going to be genuine. I'm going to stop pretending. I'm going to stop doing it because it looks good. And I'm going to do it because this is what's truly in my heart. I'm going to do it because I know that I was positioned in this position so that I can activate everything this position offers. I'm not going to fake it. So number 1 is authentic. Number 2, who knows what the second word is? Someone put it in the chat for me. Oh man, there's all 3. Matt Soto, killer. There it is. Number 2, empathetic. Thank you, Serrano Group. Thank you, Martez. Empathetic. Folks, Phil Jones, good friend of mine. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? Whoever the person is that is throwing up the Instagram, clips or pictures or videos, and we select as that person, I'm going to add in one of the books, Exactly What to Say, specifically one of the ones I wrote the forward to. Phil Jones said to me one day, Phil, I said, yes, Phil. He said, well, Phil, empathy is caring about what the people you care about more than what you care about. Now, you might have heard that before and you might know that, but I don't know if you do know that the human mind retains information typically 300% longer when you write it down. So I'm going to encourage you to write that definition of empathy down. Empathy is caring about what the people you care about more than what you care about. We live and work in an industry where we say to people over and over and over again, people work with people they know, like, and trust. And yet we live in a world that is insanely hyper transactional. Well, that's not empathy. That's how do I get from you what I need or want. What we're going to do today is we're going to build out a business plan that allows you to care more about what the people you care about. And it allows you to say, you know what, that's my type of client and that's not the right client for me. It allows you to draw people in, move people without touching them, without actually being the person that they find out isn't the real person they thought you were. Now that 3rd word, vulnerable. That's the 3rd one, vulnerable. Hey guys, I'd love for you to take some time and think about what you're willing to share and what you're not. I'd love for you to take some time and decide right now that whatever happens, all things go. I'd love for you to say, this is a safe space and I'm going to share it all. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to give every last bit of who I am because I'm allowed to be vulnerable when it comes to why I'm building what I'm building. And a lot of times in business, we forget that. So that is one of the reasons why we don't start a business plan with business. We start a business plan with life. Because you are not working your business for your business. You are working your business for your life. So on that note, I'm going to ask you to write one more thing down. What's the point? Write those words down. What's the point? This is not your end game. I'm not asking you to repeat your end game. I'm asking you to write what's the point? What or who makes this worth it to you? Like some of you, it's your spouse. You promised your spouse a particular lifestyle and you are going to deliver on that no matter what. Some of you, it's your children. They didn't ask to be here. You brought them here. And because of that reason, you want to present them with the best leg up when it's time for them to have a leg up. Some of you, it's your dog. Yeah, some of you, it's your dog. You just want to spend more time running around with your pup. And others, well, it's your cat. And for you guys, I'm allergic to cats, so I don't want to talk about cats. By the way, you have too many cats. Someone needs to tell you. Nadia said it's myself. Yeah, some of you guys are doing it because you said you would. So as you write that down, there's one more that you need to write down, and we're going to make a shift. The one more is, what allows you to accept compromise? Because as we build out here today, we're going to spend some time, and I'm going to share with you the ultimate hack. And in order to activate the ultimate hack to accomplishing everything we build out together today, you need to figure out what the ultimate compromise would be, or what would allow you to accept compromise. In other words, what allows you to say, rip it up, I'm not doing it, it's not for me. Because I promise you, life is going to both be on your side and kick you in the teeth all at the same time. So along the way, when you're thinking about how is this going to happen, how are you going to accomplish it, how are you going to win, prepare yourself, because life is right on your back chasing you down. So when will you quit? So guys, we've covered the end game. In this recap, I want you to take some time and review what you wrote. Make sure you have it down in detail. We've covered your 10-year, your 5-year, your 1 year. We've covered what makes this worth it in the first place. Why go through the struggle? Because guys, the reality is most of us on here really, really smart. You could go get a regular job anywhere. You could be successful in corporate America. So why this? We've figured it out. We covered it. But what's going to tell you, hey, it's okay to quit? James said, I tend to take my foot off the gas when I feel comfortable. How do I not do that? Here we go. Look, see, I love this, guys, because there's usually some folks on our sessions together that truly accept that this is not a lecture, this is a workshop, and they take advantage of it, and they want to say, this is what I need, and how can I win the most from this? So James, here you go. Here's how you do it. Stop looking at the pedal. Stop looking at the gas. Look at the end game and appreciate the journey. You see, because what we did by identifying the end game is we basically said, hey, kids, we're in Manhattan, and I know we've lived here our whole lives, but this Christmas, we're going to Disney. Yeah, that's it. We're going to Disney, but we're driving. We're making it a road trip. That's the end game. And when we said the 10-year, the 5-year, the 1 year, what that is, it's the journey to Disney. And what most of us do is we spend time looking at the end game, saying it's just too freaking far away. Something gets in the way. Life kicks us in the teeth. There's a detour on the drive. So we shut it down. We say, kids, I know we're in South Carolina, but it doesn't matter. I'm turning around. We're going home because this detour says it's going to add 15 minutes more on our drive. Now, as adults, we might say, well, that's fine. I don't want the 15 minutes. I don't want the 2 hours. I don't want the 5 extra hours. But the kids, if any of y'all have ever driven down the East Coast from north to south with children, and you tell them you're going to Disney, folks, they don't care if it's an additional 5 more hours. They wear their Mickey and Minnie Mouse hats with the ears on them, and they just say, are we there yet? And James, that's what I want you to ask yourself. Am I there yet? And then I want you to do something here, and I'm going to give this to everybody. I want you to ask yourself a really hard question that I tend to ask myself quite a lot. What gives me the right to quit? Not for the people I'm doing it for, but I said something. I was talking with my daughter the other day about honor and respect, about giving your word. I was talking with her. She's 14 years old, and we really broke down the concept of respect, and we really broke down the concept of honor. And we said that, look, if you give your word, you keep your word, but not because someone says so, but because no one can make you give your word. You realize that's optional. And what most of us do is every single year we partner up with people, or we find some guru to give us some business plan, and they go over the numbers and they're like, go do it. And we're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do it. And then we realize that the only person that we told was us. So it's okay to quit on us. And I want to encourage you that it is 100% not okay to quit on you. So when you find yourself, James, and anyone else that feels that same way, that in the position where, you feel like it's not clicking for me, man. Come back here. Come back here and say, well, if I stop now, how do I get to 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Is it still important? But what I also want to encourage you guys to understand is that note that I shared with you, that change is okay. Please do not confuse quitting with alteration. Don't confuse quitting with adjustment. These are not the same things. So some of you have made massive business decisions. I know somebody on here, I'm looking at her right now. She's made huge business decisions and then found out like that was completely wrong for her. And then made huge leaps in the other direction. And here's the crazy part about it. A lot of people would look at that as you failed at this. And I'm over here looking at that. Amen. Thank you. You realized that that wasn't for you, but you didn't say, I'm going to sit back and just live in defeat. Instead, you said, I'm going to lift up and I'm going to run as hard as I possibly can in the direction I realized I was supposed to be in the first place. So James, that's my answer. I see there's some other questions in here. I'm going to do my best to get to them because I want to shift. I tend to compromise. Tazeen said, I tend to compromise when I feel disempowered and when I don't have my end game in front of my mind. Well, don't worry. I've got a hack for you at the end to keep your end game in front of your mind. I'm going to come back to that. James, you're welcome to go to Manhattan for Christmas. I hear it's open. Got to get to Wally World by Rick. Come on, man. All right, let's keep rolling. Where are we going next? We have the end game in mind. I'm going to encourage you to do this next. Reverse engineer from life to business. So one thing I never truly understood was why we build business plans first and life plans never. Why we build business plans first and life plans never. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to dive into 3 key elements of building that full life plan that you outlined. And the first one is to understand, well, prior to the first one, let me say this. All we are thinking is about personal needs. That's it. I want everyone here to stop. Hear me on this. Here, look, I'll show it to you. I want you to stop pretending business and expecting life. We can't just speak about it. We have to be about it. So what we're going to do is we are right now going to think about personal first. So 3 tiers of this. I'm going to tell you the tiers, then we'll break them down. The first one is sustain. The second one is create. And the third is build. All right, here we go. Sustain, create, build. We've got 3. Let's dive into these 3. You know that life, that end game that we talked about? For a moment, I want you to come back to 1 year from now. For a moment, I want you to come back to 1 year from now. I want you to say, in order to accomplish that point of 1 year, what do I need to maintain in my current lifestyle? Not what do I need to add? What do I need to maintain in my current lifestyle? Now, as you're thinking about that, you know what? Let me hold. I'm going to give you a second because I know that once I say the next thing I'm going to say, everyone's mind's going to shift to the next thing. So let me give you a second. So right now it's what do I need, not want. I did not say the word want. Need and want are not the same thing. You need a car. You do not. Oh, I'm sorry. You want a G-Wagon. You need a car, right? Like these are different. So what do you need to maintain in your current lifestyle? And this is all under that block of sustainability. Okay. Take it, write a list. Don't go too detailed with the whole sentence and all that. Just list it out. Bang, 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 bang. It's crazy to me how many of you awesome people are actively locked in and posting on Instagram all at the same time. It's really wonderful. By the way, every time you post, we're just going to put you back in and put you back in and put you back in over and over again. And then when we're done, I'm going to offer you guys one extra thing that I think is going to be pretty cool. I'm going to give you guys 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds. 10 seconds. Think about your whole life, everything you have. What do you need to maintain? Now, I want you to, at this point, think about, this is crazy. This is a good one. Some of you guys are going to be like, ouch, I wish you didn't say that. But what do you need to get rid of? What is actively a part of your life? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. When you think what's a part of your life that you need to get rid of, I dare you to also throw in there who is a part of your life that you need to get rid of. Who's an anchor and not an engine? Who's holding you back when you are aiming to push forward? Who in your life? What in your life do you need to get rid of? Some of us spend so much darn time looking at the fancy, and we forget that everything we need is actually in front of us, but we look through these blinders because we allow ourselves to be surrounded. You ever walk into a hoarder's house? You're like, man, this house could be really nice, but there's so much junk everywhere. Well, sometimes it's hard to catch the vision when you can't see past the trash. So what do we need to get rid of? What do we need to just say, we're done with this? This ain't going to work. Like, this has to go. Take some time. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. "30 seconds. For some of us, this is really easy. For others, it's hard to even write it down. Kara said, I need to get rid of doom scrolling social media at night. Kara, I love that you said that because, you know, that is one of the hardest, easy things to do. It's hard to do because your phone's in front of you and we get this kick of adrenaline and whatever that chemical hit is. I forget the name. Someone put it in the chat. Tell me what that adrenaline, tell me what that chemical is that activates in your mind when you're scrolling and it's like bang, 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 something else. What is that? Oh, dopamine. Thank you. That's what makes it hard. Let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever been sitting in your living room watching a show? You're like 30 minutes in. You are so ridiculously comfortable, it's ridiculous. But you're cold. And you look across your living room and you can see a blanket. In fact, Riley calls it his blankie. Riley still has his blankie from when he was a baby. Still has his blankie. That's okay, Riley. We love you. But you won't get up to get it because you're so darn comfortable. You'd rather deal with the pain. You'd rather deal with the cold instead of get up and get the blanket, which can provide you with warmth. Here's a crazy question. Riley, you can't, right? I'm sorry. Riley just sent me a direct text in response to my blankie comment. I'm not going to read it, but I love you, Riley, and I'm going to get you back for that. Holy smokes. Guys, here's the thing. Kara, here's your answer. Here's your solution. Every night, set an alarm on your phone. And as soon as that alarm goes off, what I want you to do is I want you to take that phone and I want you to go into your car and plug it in. And then go back inside. I promise you, you will not get up, go back outside. Right now, it feels like 6 degrees here in Maryland, right? It's ridiculously cold. No part of me is going outside at night to go get my cell phone when it's sitting in my car. Just go plug it in your car. Now, some people are going to say, well, I'm just going to put it in the drawer in the kitchen. Nope. Until you figure this out, that's too much. That's too much opportunity for you to say, well, I'm going to get a snack. Oh, well, my phone's right here. But here's the kicker. Don't just do that. Wherever you like to sit, put a book. That's right, Kelsey, put a book wherever you like to sit. So yeah, so that what you end up doing is instead of getting the dopamine hit from the phone, you get the relaxation and education of the book. Let's see, an older version of me that creeps back in, that works so hard to replace and evolve. That's what you need to get rid of, Susan. Man. Does anyone else just write me in the chat if anyone else ever deals with what Susan just mentioned, like that old version of you that says you can't, you're not good enough, you're not worth it, there's no chance. No, or how about this? I don't belong in that room. I'm not one of them. Anyone get that? Like, it doesn't matter how good you have it. It doesn't matter how strong you are. It doesn't matter how much you've accomplished. For some darn reason, this little creep from behind our days decides to scoot up, sit on our shoulder, and tell us, you know what? You're not good enough. Well, I've got a hack for that too. Find your room. You see, Susan, what you can do in those situations is you can focus your time on finding your room. You know, that room with your people in it, that room with your people that it doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m. and you can't sleep, you know that you can message that person or that text chat, that thread, and everyone's going to jump in and say, I've got you. No, not today. You tell old Susan to just hang out back there in the past because we've got work to do. Find your room. Sometimes and back to business planning, like sometimes we spend our time building all these plans, and then what we don't actually do is spend enough time preparing ourselves and protecting ourselves to accomplish what we did in the build. And that's part of the build. We're going to talk about that. We're going to move on. Let's keep rocking. So we're reverse engineering from life to business. I know there's more in the chat. I'm going to do my best to stay on the chat. Also, so you know, I've got Arabella. If you guys ask a question that she can answer, she's going to jump in the chat and she's going to answer it for you. Oh, I love that, Victoria. Victoria said, welcome to your room, Kara. We have been waiting for you. Amen to that. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Rick said imposter syndrome. Rick, remind me about that a little later, okay? I want to keep rocking. Keep us on time. Keep us on schedule. We're doing great. If you know me, I'm not really great at always doing great. I'm working on doing great with being on time. So we're going to stay on time. All right, so here we go. We're going to reverse engineer from life to business. That's what we're doing. The first thing we're doing is we're thinking about sustainability. We covered that. We said what we're going to get rid of. Now, here's my question. I want you to look at that list of your rids, and I just want you to write a date near them. That's right. I want you to write a date and a time down to the second in the correct time zone of when you're getting rid of it, of when you're getting rid of the what or the who. That's right. Write it down. We're not going to sit here and pretend. Look, with all my love and all my heart, man, if you're like me, you feel this. I'm so tired of people pretending to be something they're unwilling to become. Not to be something they're not. No, forget what you're not. You can be anything. I'm tired of people pretending to be something they're unwilling to become. So we're not going to pretend. I want a time, a date, down to the second and time zone of when you're getting rid of what you need to get rid of. And then right after that, I'm going to give you this last one. What's the how? How are you going to do it? Some of you, it's a person. I'm going to shoot them a text. I'm going to call them. I'm going to take them for coffee and let them know where I am. Some of you, it's your phone, right? Hey, starting this day, like I was talking to my trainer yesterday, we were going over some stuff and I texted him this morning and we had a whole plan for this morning. And I texted him, I said, Zach, man, I am so unbelievably sick. He said, stop, do nothing, protect yourself, heal. Because you're allowed to alter, you're allowed to change, you're allowed to shift the plan. All right, so let's keep rocking here. Next, we have sustain, create, right? Create down. In the create box, here's what we're doing. What do you need to reach your aspirational lifestyle? That's your dreams, your travel, your experiences. So you're going back to endgame, okay? Because endgame, you should have built big. If you built small, shame on you. No, remember, no one told you how big or small you had to play. So do not play small. I want you guys to build big. So I want to know, what do you need to reach your aspirational lifestyle? The dreams, the travel, the experiences, the friendships, the fun, the joy. What do you need? The material, like the items, right? What do you need in order to reach that lifestyle? And now here's the kicker on this one. This is probably the only time I'm going to say this. Be vague. Be vague. We're going to dive in deep and get hyper granular. But in this case, just be vague. Just throw it out there. I'm going to give you just 1 minute on this one because I really want you, I don't want you to get super deep. I really want you to be vague here. Just 1 minute, 45 more seconds. Man, I'm so freaking excited right now. I just shoved my entire desk forward. Literally just moved the whole thing that way. I had to pull it back in. 20 seconds. Anybody here do this? I tend to do this, right? Like if I'm not feeling well, I'm gonna load up on the energy. Right. So I'm sitting in 2 shots of espresso right now, an yerba mate, a Coca-Cola Classic, can't beat the real thing. And I'm drinking some caffeinated tea right now. And every part of me knows that as soon as this is done, I'm going to crash so darn hard. And I'm looking forward to it so much. All right. Well, the last one, here we go. We know what we need in order to create. Now, what do you want to create for your family? This is the build. This is the build. Create is the aspirational lifestyle. The build is what do you want to create for your family or for future generations? Be vague. Again, do not go hyper granular, do not go hyper detailed. Later, you can do that. Even on your own, take your work and build out on this. But right now, just in the vaguest sense, like, holy smokes, Phil, we talked about endgame. What if endgame is I know my children, my children's children, my children's children, and every single one of them in their houses, they've got a picture of great-great-grandma. And they say great-great-grandma committed to this, and that's why we live this way. What do you want to create for your family? Is it a mindset? That's a crazy one, right? It's a crazy one that's not so crazy. Do you want to break generational woes and boundaries and create a mindset that says your family lives in this state of mind, that we accomplish everything we set our mind to because we're willing to do the work that others complain about? And then the next thing you're going to do as you're writing that out is this is where we make the transformation into business. You're going to align your business needs with those personal needs. In other words, you're going to ask yourself a question. What does my business need to do to support my life goals? What does my business need to do to support my life goals? So how I'd like you to do this, guys, is I get back to 1 year. Just get back to 1 year. Look at what you wrote for your 1 year. What does my business need to do to support those life goals? Where will you be 1 year from now in life? Well, business has to do this. Now, Phil, what don't we have to go through numbers for that? Yeah, we do. Don't go granular. Let's keep it vague. What does my business have to do in order to support those life goals? I want you to think about maybe like revenue streams you should be picking up, lead sources you should be picking up, teams. Some of you guys, team leaders or future team leaders, what is the team structure you need to create? What's the operational side of your business that just isn't exactly where it needs to be? We need to just clean that up a little bit this year. What are your support systems that maybe you've been struggling with, that you know that if I could this, then I would this? No more if, let's just do it. And then we get to keep writing, take your time. I'm gonna give you the time. And then we get back to don't just speak about it, be about it. And this is how we're gonna do that. We are gonna begin, now watch what we're doing. We're just full circling this baby. We're thinking about life. We're identifying why we're doing this as it pertains to life. We're thinking about, we're being vague, but we're writing down the concepts of what we need to do in business in order to achieve that life. We're feeling what that life is going to be like. And now we're going to start the pathway of getting hyper granular. Because if we're not going to just speak about it, we're going to be about it, then, well, what are the actions? So what we're looking for is to translate your business needs into actions, not goals. Do not write down goals. That's not what we're talking about. All right, let's pause for a minute. At this point, someone should be confused. And I think that this is the difference in the way my crazy, fun, amazing, kooky brain thinks. At this point, someone should be confused. Someone should be saying to themselves, well, how can I know what my business needs in order to accomplish those goals if we haven't went over the numbers? The only reason you need to go over the numbers right now is if you will be driven by the numbers. When I started in real estate, I said I wanted to accomplish X, Y, Z. I sold 38 homes my first year. And I said I was going to do that by working particular hustle pillars and particular top of mind pillars. And one of those hustle pillars, many of you know, is calling expireds. Now, I did not say I was going to call expireds every now and then. What I said was I was going to call expireds for 1 year, every single day, Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., no matter what. You see, that's what I mean. What does your business need from the action perspective, not the goal perspective? What are you going to do on your side for your business, no matter what? That's right. That means if Christmas Day landed on a Friday, and that means from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., I'm calling expireds on Christmas morning. That's just the reality of it. Why, Phil? That's crazy. It's only crazy to everyone that didn't sell 38 homes their first year and didn't become the rookie of the year and didn't control their office's production by always owning at least 20% of the production. It was only crazy for the people that didn't. But what it wasn't, and whom it wasn't crazy for, was the people that I found were just like me in the rooms that I needed to be in. So I'm asking you now to define the entity level goals first as a whole, right? The action, I'm sorry, not goals, the actions. And then what we're going to think about is we're going to think about personal execution. So let's cover this. There's hustle pillars and there's top of mind pillars. Right, we're gonna go over your numbers. It's coming. It's like next or next. But hear me on this. There's hustle pillars and there's top of mind pillars. A hustle pillar is simply defined as an activity you're going to do that's going to generate you lead flow now, like expireds. A top of mind pillar is an activity you're going to do that's going to generate you lead flow later that will or should give you the option to stop working hustle pillars if you so desire. So a hustle pillar could be, like for me, it was expireds. Another hustle pillar that I worked, well, that was open house events. Another hustle pillar that I worked was actually a cross between hustle and top of mind. It was farming. And then my top of mind pillar was video content. And so all I did was I decided what were the hustle pillars I was willing to work. And then write this down. What is the frequency of consistency by which you will work it? What is the frequency of consistency by which you will work it? So what I'd love for you guys to do is I'm going to give you guys about 3 to 4 minutes for this one, because this is defining what you're going to do. This is not hypothetical. This is 1 year from now, I know exactly where I want to be. This is the actions we're going to take in our business in order to get there. Now, someone here is thinking to themselves, you know what, man? I love that. This is cool, but here's the kicker. Like, I don't want to work hustle pillars. I'm not into hustle culture. It's called hustle pillar. It takes work. Business takes work. There's a reason why you're the business owner and other people are not. It takes work. So hustle pillar, again, is a pillar of business, an action, an activity of business that you're doing that generates you lead flow now. A top of mind pillar is an activity you're doing that generates you lead flow later. It keeps you top of mind. What do I mean later? I mean, let's say Claudia is watching me on social, right? She's like, oh man, I always see Phil on social. I love this video. I love this video. And that's all it ever is. It's just Claudia sees me on social. Every now and then she likes something. Every now and then she hearts something or shares something, whatever. That's a top of mind pillar. Why is that a top of mind pillar? Why is that important? Because humans go through a change window roughly every 6 months. And what most of us in real estate do as realtors is what we do is we say, well, if I post a video, I want Claudia to call me now to buy a house. I'm sorry, Claudia's not looking to buy or sell right now. We're not going to force her to buy or sell because I posted a video. That's some serious main character syndrome right there. So what top of mind pillars actually do is they say, I am consistent enough in delivering value in a fashion that keeps Claudia's attention. So when Claudia is ready, she will think, I think I want to buy a house, but my name will be synonymous with that thought to Claudia. And that just won't work if I post on my socials or I get in front of Claudia or if I farm every now and then, kind of, sort of, without a frequency of consistency that matters. So we know the action, right? You're going to establish what that top of mind action is, but you have to also establish what's the frequency of consistency by which you will work that action. In 2023, I'll give you an example. We set a goal to post one video a day. That was the goal. One video a day. 365 days in the year, we're going to post one video a day. We failed miserably. I mean, miserably. We posted 352 videos that year. Yeah, we missed 13 freaking days. Now, do you think I really think we failed miserably, or do you think I think we are some freaking rock stars? Because I think we are some freaking rock stars. Because I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my goodness, I didn't. Oh my goodness, I didn't. I'm going to say, look what we accomplished. So really, I want you guys to think about this. What's that frequency of consistency? And as you're doing that, I'm going to ask you to break it down. You're going to break it down to, you want to write this down. Daily actions, weekly priorities, monthly metrics, and quarterly reconciliation. Let me say that again. Terry, I'm going to pause right there. Amen, Terry. Terry said, I didn't close 100 deals, but I did 82. I'm not upset. And as well, you should not be. Let me get a little shake for Terry, please. Give her a little love. Yeah. Throw that. No, everybody get in there and give Terry some love. Don't be too cool for it. 82 on a goal of 100. That's every day. My goodness gracious. How many Terrys are on your team? Love it. There's only one Terry in this world, folks. Better follow her. All right, I'm going to pause for a minute. I have, I don't know if you're intentionally raising your hand or if it was accidental, but Jean or Jean, I'm not sure how to properly pronounce your name, but did you intentionally raise your hand, or were you just giving some love to Terry? If you were giving love to Terry, give me this. Were you just giving love to Terry? Do you have a question? Come off mute for me. You should be able to hold the space bar down, and that might take you off mute. I think that takes you off mute. Oh, love to Terry. All right, awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so let's jump back in. Let me get back to that screen. All right, here it is. So I'm going to give you those 4 again because I know I ran through them. So if you didn't get them, here they are. Double check that you wrote them down correctly. You are going to look for what daily actions, weekly priorities, monthly metrics, quarterly reconciliation. Tazeen said, if I hit a goal, I'm upset that I aim too low. I see goals as something to strive for, and the higher you aim, the higher you land. I both hate and hate that. Let me tell you why. You know I love you, so I feel like I can just chat with you. Why would you set a goal, accomplish the goal, and then be mad that you accomplished the goal? Why would we take an absolute win and then complain to ourselves about not setting a high enough goal? How about this, Tazeen? Here, I'm going to give you guys a challenge that my whole team has this year. In fact, on Wednesday, what we're doing is we're going to take our business plan session today, and we're going to do a team-specific business planning session. And one of the things that we are challenged to do is to take that 1-year goal, which we're going to come up with here together. We're going to work the numbers. Take that 1-year goal and accomplish it by the end of June. In 6 months. Take your 1-year goal and do it in 6 months. I'm not going to be upset if I don't do it in 6 months, and I'm not going to be upset if I don't do it in a year. I'm going to be upset if I don't give all that I have. You know, there was a study done about children, and the most successful children, their parents never told them, check this out. This is going to blow your freaking mind. This changed an aspect of the way I parent. The most successful children, their parents never said, you're smart. They never heard that. Their parents never told them they were smart. Because what they found was when children are told you're smart, they create an identity in their mind of, I have to prove I'm smart. So if they fail at something, then they say to themselves, I must not be smart. And their real identity is, I'm not smart enough. I'm not, as an adult, that turns into what? Good enough. But the children that really excel are the ones where their parents say, did you do your best? And then all you're doing is you're saying, did you do your best? And you're asking questions like, well, did you really do your best? How did you do your best? What makes you feel like you did your best? At what point in this exam or this test or this class did you really know like you were giving all that you have? And then when the children can articulate in some capacity based on age that they did their best, the parents just said, well, it's all good enough for me. I am incredibly proud of you. See, the grade didn't matter. The effort is what mattered. And folks, that changes the perspective of how the children turn into adults, because they're no longer striving to meet a benchmark someone else sets. Instead, they're saying, give it all you got. We said we're going to do 365 videos. We gave it all we had. We left it all on the table. We knocked out 352. Terry said, I'm going to do 100 deals. She gave it all she had. She left it all on the table. She knocked out 82. Folks, congratulations. You did your best. Now, how can we build on your best next time? These are the questions we start asking ourselves. We make this shift in how we think, where we don't put ourselves back, we propel ourselves forward. Speaking of propelling ourselves forward, let's continue that process. So we talked about daily actions. What are the daily actions? We're talking about weekly priorities, monthly metrics, quarterly reconciliation. Let me break those down for you. Daily actions. What are the daily actions as it pertains to the hustle pillars you're identifying that you have to do? I want you to take 30 seconds and quickly write them down, just as best as you can think about. We thought about hustle pillars. Well, and here's what I want to do. I want to encourage you that if you have a hustle pillar that you work this year or you're gonna work next year, put it in the chat. Because some people are like, well, I don't know what hustle pillar I'm gonna work. So put your hustle pillars in the chat. What is that thing that you are doing this year or you did in 2025? What is your hustle pillar? What is that action that you're going to take that's going to build on your business and you're going to have a proper frequency of consistency? So Kelsey says geo farming and meeting with people weekly. Susan said open houses. Yeah, guys, I did open house events. I did 2 to 4 open house events per month for a year. Buying rental properties. That's a whole different outlook on hustle pillars, right? I'm gonna build a hustle pillar for life, not just business. Kelsey said open houses. Again, I like it. I want to challenge you guys to stop calling these open houses. They are open house events. Realtors do open houses. Humans invite people to an event. Don't be a realtor. Be human. Work my pipeline. Alejandra said, work my pipeline. Oh my goodness. I love that one. Just a decision that says all the people I need are already around me. I'm actually going to start reaching out to them. I love that one. Talking to people I meet in passing and giving them my card. Hope, I bet you we can build on that. I bet we can actually build on how do we talk to those people? What are we sharing with them? Are we giving a card? Are we building more connection? And then here, look at Victoria, community connection. Erica, the original question is if you have a hustle pillar that you worked in 2025 or you're going to work in 2026, just put it in the chat here so that people know the hustle pillars you're going to work. And then what you're doing is you're saying that what are the daily actions that I need to do in order to work that hustle pillar? But remember, I used one of mine, the expireds, right? And I said, these are the daily actions. I was going to call from 8 to 10, Monday through Friday, no matter what. That's the degree of specificity by which I set my mind. Social media and networking, expireds, calling expireds, B2B networking that builds my local community, open house events and networking events. Why not call on the weekends? Well, that's a great question, Hope. Because I don't want to be bothered on the weekends. Why would I think someone else does? I work all darn week. and honestly, for me, like I work all darn week, like Monday through Sunday. But when I have some time for me or for my family, I don't want someone calling me about business. I want to relax. So I don't call people on the weekends. I don't call expireds on the weekends. Now I call people, right? I do business when it's called for, but specifically as it pertains to the hustle pillar, I don't call expireds on the weekends. Full Grinch mode. Yeah. Sometimes you got to do it. Let's keep rocking. All right. So we have daily actions. And then we had weekly priorities. So when I'm thinking weekly priorities, let me tell you what I'm saying to you here. Weekly priorities mean what are the things that allow your hustle pillar to work? What are the priorities on a weekly basis that have to be in place so your hustle pillar can work? Here's an example. Maybe you have children. You have to drop them off at school or pick them up for school. That is a weekly priority. So I have to now go back and adjust the frequency of consistency by which I'm going to work my daily action to ensure I can drop my kids off at school and pick them up from school. I'm not going to say my kids are going to be late for school. Like that's crazy. No, that's not an option. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to say, what are the weekly priorities in life that will enable me? And what do I need to adjust if they prevent me from actually doing my daily actions? And then we're going to go over monthly metrics. That means track. Here's the crazy part about this, guys. I worked this so well. Here's what happened. Here's what happened. What I did was for my first 60 days, I just called every single expired that came up Monday through Friday from 8 to 10, no matter what. Every expired Monday through Friday from 8 to 10. But monthly, I looked at the metrics and I tracked everything, and something crazy showed itself to me. Because I was tracking, I realized that I only need to call 10 people per day. And if I just called 10 people per day, I would always have 2 conversations. And if I always had 2 conversations, I would always book 1 listing appointment. And if I booked and went on 1 listing appointment, I would close 98.99% of the appointments I went on. So listen to what I said. I took the, oh my goodness, is this going to work mindset? And I turned it into, after just 60 days, dude, today you just need to call 10 people. You're going to get a listing appointment. Today you just need to call 10 people. You're going to get a listing appointment. My business was so darn listing heavy in year 1, year 2, year 3. It was insane. Because all I did was work the metrics. And then quarterly reconciliation. That's right. Every single quarter, you're going to ask yourself this one question. Here it is. Every quarter. Is this working? That's the only question you're asking yourself first. Is this working? Now, here's what I didn't say. Is this working? If not, quit. Nope. Remember, you committed to a year. So is this working? If not, adjust. We're going to talk about recalibration a little later. Is this working? If not, adjust. I'm going to give you guys a little secret. The best way to adjust a business action is to not adjust it yourself. Write that down, please. The best way to adjust a business action is to not adjust it yourself. If you knew how to make the proper adjustment, you would have been doing that in the first place. Here's your hack. Star it. When it's time to check if it's working, instead of sitting down and reconciling your business on a quarterly basis by yourself, create a room of winners and do it as a group. Every month, 4 times a year, get in the same room. That might be in person. That might be on a beach. That might be in a cabin. That might be on Google Meet or Zoom. But get in the same room with players every quarter that are working and winning. Not a bunch of people that want to hang out, because that ain't what we're doing. Working and winning every quarter in 2026 and reconcile your business. Hey man, this isn't working, but Michael, I know that you kill it on this. So here's my numbers. Can you help me readjust the metrics and figure out what I have to do in order to get XYZ to happen? That's what you're doing. Now you're going to have a little fun in those meetings and blah, 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 but it ain't for fun. It's to build the business. We're in business mode right now. I want you to think, guys, as you do this, to maintain that mindset of sustain, create, and build. I'm going to pause here for a moment. I'm going to ask if there's any questions because we are about to make a shift. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, brand new page. If you're typing, put a page break in. If you're writing, I don't care if you have one sentence on the current page, brand new page, because we are diving into numbers in just a moment. But here's the kicker. We're not doing it quite yet. Folks, it is 12:19 Eastern time. We are going to take a 5-minute break. Actually, we're going to call it a 6-minute break. And we're going to come back at 12:25 Eastern time. I am going to start talking numbers at 12:25 Eastern time. That's about 5.5 minutes from now. Use the bathroom, grab a snack, get some water, do what you need to do. But the break has officially started. 12:25. We're coming right back here. I'll see you guys in a minute. 1 minute. Let's find our way back. Let's find our way back. 1 minute. Let's get those cameras on. All right, let's do it. We are back. Let's have some fun. Let's jump back in. Hey, I know that usually when we have an opportunity to take a break, questions come up. And I just wanted to find out if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask. What I'm going to ask you to do is if you have questions, we're going to come off mute. We're going to chat. We're going to take about 3 to 5 minutes for some Q&A. Let's do it now. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Look, see, and while that's happening, Arabella's coming back in here with some extra tea for me to keep me functioning. And by the way, look at that cup. I mean, that's a cool cup. You got a picture of me in a helicopter right there. Yeah, Sam, I see you looking at it. Yep. You know why? You know why there's a picture of me in a helicopter, Sam? Because I'm cool. All right. I'm cool. Yeah. At the same time, I'm like, so I'm cool. As I prove to you, I'm a total geek, right? At the exact same time. No, sir, you don't nod your head at the geek part. Victoria, you don't either. That's not, y'all are missing how. All right. Anyway, let's keep it going. If there's no, Jesus, I don't know what the thumbs up was for, the cool or the geek part. So I'm going to just say it's for the cool part. And that's that. Let's keep it rocking here, guys. We want to stay on time. We want to finish on time. We want to make sure we have some fun. Now, Jesus, that you threw a laugh out there, I know for a fact it was for the geek part. Archer, you're in the other room, dude. Like, I can come out there and talk to you about the super geek comment, which I will a little later. Thank you so much. Let's go. All right. This is not what we're going to do. This is not what our time's going to be for the rest of our time together. So let me get us into this. Remember, if you have any questions, now's the time. Throw your hand up. Let's answer any questions that you might have. I am going to give you 2 more opportunities for Q&A, by the way. And so you guys know, if you're looking for a heads up on, hey, like, what all are we going to be doing for the rest of our time together? We have more. We have marketing we're going to talk about. There's some tips to remember that I'm going to give you guys. There's a whole other section that I know you're going to love. It's going to help you run through the year. There are some key hacks that you need to remember. And then I'm going to give you a what's next opportunity. It's going to blow your freaking minds. I cannot wait. It is going to be awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. So let's go. I don't see any questions. I do send to, we should order pizza. Send to, holy smokes. All right, Victoria asked to re-show a slide. Here, Victoria, let me pull the slides back up. You tell me if this is the one you are referencing. I know that's not it. 1 second. Is this business needs, not wants into actions? I think that's the one. Yeah, I think that's the one. I'm gonna give you a second there. Terry, holy smokes. Thank you so much. That's where I was going next. What we've come to realize, Arabella walked in here and said, hey, you should say this. And it is exactly to the point of Terry's question. Will we get the slides? The answer is absolutely yes, you will get the slides. But we have a problem. The problem is everyone's email is not in our system because a lot of you guys are sitting together with other people and you didn't register. One person registered, so there's a bunch of people in the room. So 2 things. If you are on right now, let's just be super safe. Drop your email in the chat. That's right. Just put your email in the chat right now. If you are on, just drop it right in this chat. And the next thing is, if you are not one of the people that are controlling your computer, right? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go on Instagram and send me a DM with your email. And we're just going to make sure everyone gets all of the slides. All right. So I'm going to give you guys about 60 to knock that out here. I'm going to drink some tea while it's hot, and we're going to keep the power through going. By the way, I did just eat a David protein bar, so I think my energy is going to keep up here, and we're going to have an awesome time. That's right. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Drop your emails in the chat. Go into Instagram if you aren't controlling the computer and send me your email. In the meantime, Claudia has a question. We're going to answer Claudia's question. Go for it, Claudia. Where you at? I'm going to stop sharing these slides so I can just look and chat with Claudia.
Hey, Phil. I'm just wondering, are we going to tag Shift Immersive Coaching at all, or?
Yeah, you can. What we're doing is we're sharing it to both, but it does make it a lot easier if you tag Shift Immersive Coaching. So what Claudia is referencing is the Instagram page for Shift Immersive Coaching. Arabella, if you don't mind, I don't know if you're running around or you hear this right now, but can you just throw in the link for that into the chat for the Shift, or Francis, can one of you guys drop in the link for Shift Instagrams? Thank you, Claudia, for that, by the way. All right, let's keep rocking. It's numbers time, right? We're gonna have 4 slides on numbers. We're gonna hit the excuse me. We're gonna hit numbers in a really, hear me on this, basic way. One thing I've come to learn is people love getting super creative with their numbers. And for my entire life in business, I have never understood that. Like, I have a particular set of goals I want to meet, accomplish, and build through those particular set of goals. I don't need to get fancy. I don't need to get sexy. I don't need to get cool. I just need to figure out where I'm going and then go there. And that's it. When we're thinking about numbers, I want you to write something down. Remember, you have a new page. We have a new page. So on your page, here is the slide that we're starting with. So here's your slide. And all I want you to do is underneath whatever you write as your title, this slide page is, I want you to write one word, pragmatism. I want you to write pragmatism. Ladies and gentlemen, no pipe dream numbers. We are going to be hyper pragmatic. We are going to build out numbers, goals that we are going to meet. Now, hold on a second, Phil. We're going to build out numbers and goals that we can meet. I did not say that. I said that we are going to meet. In other words, do not deflate your numbers in an effort to get on here next year and say, I did it. I did it. No, stretch. But at the same time, can we please be real? Like, if you've never sold a house and you're going to tell me, look, man, my goal this year, I'm knocking out 200 homes. Like, unless you know something that probably everyone else on here doesn't know, like, I'm going to say it. And I know, like, by the way, we're probably going to throw this on YouTube and it's definitely going to be in the Shift Vault, but someone's going to come on and say, you know what, man? That guy's crazy. He shouldn't tell people not to make big goals. Absolutely. I want you to make big goals, but I want you to be really pragmatic in the process. I want you to be really pragmatic in the process, because I'm not just asking you to make your goals. I'm going to ask you to go back and look at all the work that we just did and ask yourself, was the work you built out work that will allow you to meet the goals that you just wrote down? So let's start with numbers. Now, what we like to do is break down. Can you guys hear me okay if I push this mic away from me a little bit? Is that still okay? Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me fine? All right. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate you. So what we're going to do is we are going to break down our goals from personal to business. The very first problem, challenge, hiccup, and hurdle that we're about to run into is most people will not have their numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, what exactly is the point of meeting business goals if the results of meeting your business goals cannot sustain your life? Again, what is the point of meeting business goals if the results of your business goals cannot sustain your life? We're going to start with personal to business. So, meaning we're not going to set goals for personal. We're going to be realistic about personal. What you're going to do is you're going to take 60 seconds and you are in your mind, or maybe you have a spreadsheet you can just pull up. I don't know what it is, but you're going to figure out the total cost to exist. That's right. What is your household's total cost to exist? Now, for the person that's going to take their numbers and they're not going to include gasoline, grocery store runs, that's a necessity. Okay, but hold on a second. I need to stress something. Disney World is not a necessity. Cost to exist does not include niceties. It's necessities. So what I want to do is I want you to take about 45 more seconds and identify the total number it takes for you to exist. Now, while that's happening, what is going to be really important is, for a lot of people, you will not have the exact number. That's okay, because you didn't know you were going to do this. But what is not okay is for you to not today get the exact number down to the penny and update your number. Well, why, Phil? Why does it have to be down to the penny? Well, I have an answer for that. And it's a really great answer. The answer is, I want you to think about your car payment for a minute, and let's assume your car payment was $432.15. Do you realize if you pay a car payment of $432, you have not made your car payment? So down to the penny matters. And we're so good at talking about how, hey, we're detailed to a client. We care about the little things to a client, but in our lives, we don't take time to figure out the details. Down to the penny, you need to know exactly what it costs to exist. I want you guys, you've had more than a minute. I want you to write that number down. Do not, I want to stress this. I don't care how comfortable you feel about it. Do not put it in the chat. We do not want your number in the chat. We don't want an estimate in the chat. Keep your number to yourself. Now, while that number's in the back of your mind, what we're going to do is we are going to start asking ourselves a question. The question is, how do I break it all down? So I'm going to give you a breakdown framework. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to do an annual breakdown. The second thing you're going to do is a biannual breakdown. The third thing is a quarterly breakdown. And the fourth thing is a monthly, weekly, and daily breakdown. I know I just put 3 into 1 there. I just wanted it to be 4, so I wrote it that way. So again, you're going to have an annual, a biannual, a quarterly, a monthly, a weekly, and a daily breakdown. All right, why, man? Why? All right, so you remember in the beginning, I told you guys, like, I have this weird, crazy brain, right? And this weird, and if you know me, you know, like, I have a weird, crazy brain. One of the weird, crazy things about my brain is that if I can figure out how to get to tomorrow, I know I got through today. I'm gonna say that again. If I can figure out how to get through tomorrow or get to tomorrow, I know I got through today. So the reason why we're going to break this down to literally the day, meaning I need X amount of dollars per year to exist, broken down every 6 months to exist, broken down every 3 months to exist, broken down every month to exist, broken down every week to exist, broken down every day to exist, is sometimes when things get really freaking hard, and you know they will, when things get stupid, insanely hard, I just really want to stop looking at that big freaking goal. And I just want to say, what do I need to generate today to get to tomorrow? And I don't want to have to figure it out because by that time I'm stressed and I'm tired and I'm pulling my freaking hair out. And you can see like I stopped the slide because I don't have hair to pull out. I need you guys to see that. I don't have that an option. Jen, don't laugh at me. I saw that. I don't have the hair to pull out. Right. I want to know really clearly, what do I need to exist today? What is that thing I need to do today? And then what I'm going to accept is that this eliminates guesswork later. Now, all we're going to do is think about the annual right now. So eliminate from your mind 100% of everything, and we're just thinking about the annual. That's all we're going to do. So now that we're thinking about the annual, you have your number. What I'm going to encourage that you do is I'm going to encourage you to understand that a business only works if it supports the life behind it. So whatever goal you set for 2026, if the end business production number cannot support the number you just wrote for your annual existence, you must do everything over again that we're about to do. Like, let's stop making goals that we haven't thought about in detail and said, can I actually live off this? Because so many times in real estate, I guess in business, but definitely in real estate, we spend time just picking numbers out of the air and we're like, that's what I'll shoot for because that's what my team lead or that's what my brokerage said is a win. Dude, it's not a win if you can't pay your darn car payment 12 times in 12 months. So we have to make sure that that we understand a business only works if it supports the life behind it. Now, someone's going to say, well, that's, I don't know if that's true because, well, then obviously you've never struggled in a way that you couldn't figure out how to pay your bills. And the goal at the end of 2026 is that we can go back to the very first slide where we built out that 1 year from now that had nothing to do with business. And we can say we're living that life. Now, here's the thing. Actually, I'll hold on that point. Let's start it. Let's do it. So first thing we need to do, the very first action we need to take is we need to start building out our numbers. And if we believe that we're going to build out our numbers, then we're going to build our numbers this way. We're going to say, what do I need to live? That's personal life. We're going to then say, what do I need to sustain my business? That's personal sustainability. Business sustainability. What do I need to grow my business? That's business growth. What do I need for personal joy? Here's what I want you guys to do right now. I'm not going to ask you to do this for any other slide. Take a picture of this slide because I'm about to hit you with a reality check. That's going to be a reality check. That's why we call it a reality check. Take a picture of the slide. I'm going to give you 15 seconds. Yep. Get your phones out, screenshot it, do whatever y'all got to do, but get a picture. Now, here's what most people do. They say personal life to personal joy to business sustainability to business growth. Folks, I'm going to tell you, you need to find joy in the business growth through the business sustainability so that you can use that to help your personal joy. Some of us are spending business money on personal joy that we haven't earned yet. Stop spending your business's money because you feel like picking up a new iPhone. And then you call it a business expense, knowing that your business isn't sustainable enough to cover that Apple Card payment that you qualified for and then added an extra $75 a month to your monthly expenses. Now, here's the kicker. Here's why I'm harping on this. And some people are going to tell me, well, Phil, man, you're hurting my feelings. You're being mean. I was at an event a couple months ago, and this event was all top leaders in this company. And I asked a really amazing question. This question literally is the reason I made this slide. I said, in the room of 100 top leaders, how many of you guys have met your goals for 2025 or are on track to meet your goals for 2025? Nearly none of them put their hands up. I thought about that for a minute. Now stay with me. Please stay with me. I thought about that for a minute. I held that thought in my mind and I said, dude, as soon as the event ends, when everyone is leaving, go outside. So I did. And I saw some of the nicest dang cars I've ever seen in my life. Holy smokes, Mercedes, BMWs, the whole deal. I'm talking about brand new cars, freshly clean, looking good. Everyone was just pretending. For who? We're building a life through building a business. We are not getting money and blowing money. We are building a life through building a business. We are not getting money and blowing money. So this slide becomes really, really darn important when you start looking at it through that lens. So as we're doing this numbers activity, I'm going to encourage you to look at it that way. All right, so here we go. Let's do it. First thing I need you to do, because we cannot, I realize people do this, but there is no possible way to effectively build your numbers if you don't have some sort of idea of what your buyer to seller percentage was for 2025. Buyer to seller percentage for 2025. What's a buyer to seller percentage? Meaning, if you did 10 deals in 2025, what percent were buyers? What percent were sellers? 2 minutes to figure that out. Now, someone should go in the chat and say something like, I'm new. I haven't sold anything. Then your buyer percentage for 2026 is going to be 90%, and your seller percentage for 2026 is going to be 10%. If you are new, when you are thinking about building out your numbers for next year, you're going to say you're 90% buyer heavy, 10% seller heavy. I'd love to know if anyone can tell me why we do that. Does anyone know? I'd love for you to just come off mute and tell me why are we doing that?
Why are we picking 90 and 10?
Why are we saying 90% buyer, 10% seller?
As long as I'm sellers.
Nope. Close, but that's not it. Not it. Good thought.
New
Anyone
agent prospect for buyers more than sellers.
Even closer. And that is a thing that is done. Here's why. Buyers buy with emotion, sellers sell with logic. If you are going to get a listing, you typically have to have proof of ability. If you're going to get a buyer to work with, you have to have a connection with a person. So if you're brand new, you probably don't have much proof in your ability. So what we do instead is we focus on buyers only to turn around, and hear me on this, Kevin just said it, nurture my buyers over the years so that, guess what? The average person sells their home in 5 years. So that your 5 year from now life is now a listing agent heavy life. Now here's the kicker. Super cool. For the people here that are new, but you are on a team, if you want your 10% to be higher, guess what? Don't talk about your production. Talk about your team's production. That's all you have to do, is talk about your team production. So how do you talk about team production? It is the easiest hard thing to remember. You stop saying I and you start saying we 100% of the time. You know, one of the things that we do is, one thing that really worked for us in 2025, the reason why we did so many listings this year, and that's all you do. You just transfer I to we. You stop using the it's all about me and you start saying it's all about us. And then you might be able to build out a higher listing percentage. All right, so first thing we're going to do is figure that out. I'm going to assume everyone has that. Are we good? I'm going to also just kill the slide for a moment. I want to just chat with you guys. So I'm going to assume that everyone has that. Are we good? Just by a show of hands, let me see you wave at me or something if we're good. All right, you have that buyer percentage. All right, great. Next thing you're going to do is we are just going to think about buyers. So think about that buyer percentage. And next thing we're going to do is say, in 2026, so please remember, oh, forgive me. I need to back up. This is on me because I'm leaving the new people out and I can't leave the new people out. So if this is your first year in real estate, you're stepping into 2026, and this is your first real year in real estate, your 2026, I'm sorry, your 2025 production, your assumption is going to be you closed 10 deals in 2025. So if you are brand new, you are going to assume you closed, had you been in real estate, 10 deals in 2025, which would mean 9 buyers, 1 seller. Okay. Now, if you are not new and you did not close 10 in 25, that does not give you permission to pretend that you can work off of other numbers. No, you work on real numbers. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. This is all about numbers. It's going to be the simplest, shortest, longest thing we do today. Here we go. You're going to take only the buy side. You're going to look at your buyer units that you sold in 2025. And you're going to say, based on those buyer deals, how many did I do? This is your formula. The amount of buyers you closed in 25 times the local area average sales price, not your state's average sale price. Your local area average sale price equals the volume in sales that you would do if you duplicated that in 2026. Stay with me here. If you don't understand something, put your hand up. Martez, go for it. Where you at?
So you could do a 360 lens or you could do a single lens.
What is she talking about? Martez, do you have a question? I see your hands up, but I just want to. Okay, no question from Martez. All right. So again, you're going to take that number, and what you've established is now you have a 2026, what my number would be if I did the same thing as 25 at the average sale price. That gave you your 2026 volume. The next thing you're going to do is you are simply going to take that volume number and you're going to multiply it by 2.5%. And we're just going to pretend that everyone here averages 2.5% on the buy side. And that's going to equal your GCI for 2026. Now stay with me. You just stay with me. If you don't catch something, then I need you to put your hand up so I can answer your questions. The next thing you're going to do. Okay. Well, that was a tell. All right, Kevin, you go first, and then your hand was first. Go for it.
Can you just say what that second one was? The GCI. How do you get that?
Yeah. So you're going to take the first step, gave you what your volume would be if you did the same amount as last year, or the projected amount if you're new. You're going to take that volume, you're going to multiply it by 2.5%. And that's going to give you your GCI that you would finish 2026 with if you did that same thing. Okay. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your seller number and you're going to do the same darn thing. That's it. Just take your seller number and do the same darn thing. I'm going to give you guys 2 or 3 minutes to do that. And while you're doing it, I have no idea how to properly pronounce your name. And because I have a name that people mess up all the time, I am not going to try. So come off mute. I see your hand is up. Ms. Jefferson, and tell me what your question is.
Hey, Phil, it's Shahida.
Hey, yeah, I knew that.
I know.
Of course.
So with the local number, what if you had buyers in a few different areas? How do you figure out what number you should use as that average number?
I love it. Such a great question. So what you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself just broadly, do I typically work around my state? And if you do, then use your state specific number. But if you want to get hyper specific, just take the sale price of all your sales last year on the buy side and then add them together and divide them by the number of sales. And now you have your actual average.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course. And yes, we're gonna take a minute and let you guys get all these numbers together, because right now you're working on buy side and you're working on sell side. So I'm just gonna give you guys some time. This is actually the longest I'm giving you time I'm gonna give you, because I know that like right now we're doing math, right? And somebody's head hurts right now, like the whole deal. I'm going to give you guys about 3 more minutes to finalize your numbers. All righty then. I think I gave you a good amount of time. But here's the kicker. I really understand the value of this time now, having this number. So if you have questions, come off mute, ask me your questions. And does anyone need more time? If anyone needs more time, I want you to go in the chat and just write time. If you need more time, just write time. If I don't get anyone in there saying time, then I'm going to, or enough people rather saying time, I'm going to keep moving. So again, working this out, you're going to find you're going to take your 2025 production. You're going to figure out your buyer seller production. You're going to take your buyer seller production. You're going to have the separation. You're going to take that separation and you're going to say, okay, based on that separation for 2026, here's what I'm doing. In 2025, this is the units I did on the buy side. Multiply that by my local area average sales price. If you worked all over the place, you have 2 options. You take your state average sale price, or you figure out your exact average sale price and you take that multiplication, and that's your 2026 projected volume if you did the exact same thing. You are then going to do the same exact thing for the sellers. Now we're going to keep moving. So let's lock in, pay close attention, because here's what's next. You should run into an issue. And the issue is, on the sell side, most of us are collecting more than 2.5%. So now what you're going to do, now that you have the baseline, you're going to go back to your sell side number and you're going to look at what your average sell side compensation was for 2025. And you're going to recalculate your sell side. Well, Phil, why didn't you just say that in the first place, dude? Because you need a baseline. If you don't understand the formula, what's the darn point? Let's create a baseline first. Okay. So if you have sell side numbers, I'm going to give you 2 to 3 minutes to figure out your average compensation for 2025 percentage, your average compensation percentage for 2025. What was it? And while you're doing that, I want to share something with you guys. When I was a solo agent specifically, there was never a time I didn't know this number by heart. And I want to stress to you guys something. A lot of us are pretending to be business owners, and I'm going to encourage you to cut that out. You have to know your numbers. It's not a nicety. It is a necessity. You are a business owner. You have to know your numbers. Riley said it, 98.99%. You have to know your numbers. All right. Now, okay, let's keep moving. So what's next? The next thing we have is a potential if you did. So what I want you to do next is I want you to take that GCI for the buy side. I want you to take that GCI for the sell side, And if you're on a team, listen up, I'm talking with you. I want you to figure out your net income after your team splits and your brokerage splits. If you are not on a team, I want you to figure out your net income after your brokerage splits. And now you're going to have a buy side net income, a sell side net income. So let's say you make $100,000 in GCI on the sell side based on this numbers. And based on the numbers, you make $100,000 in GCI, and you know that you pay your brokerage 15%. Your net is $85,000 for the year. You see, it's very simple once you know what the formula is. Okay, so now you have $85,000 for the year. That's your sell side. You're going to do the same thing. Now, the reason I separate it is because some teams and or brokerages have a certain split for listings and a certain split for buyers. So that's why I'm separating it. Now, if your split is the same no matter what, then just add the two GCI numbers and then figure out your net number there. In the end, we are looking for one final net number. I'm going to give you guys just a couple minutes to figure that out. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them, come off mute, or put them in the chat. Terry, I see your question. Give me a second. Let me drink some tea. So Terry, I have a spreadsheet that calculates this for me. We can talk offline. Maybe I can get you that spreadsheet or a version of it. Soto, you mean it's gross after broker split, right? Not net. No, I mean, we are working this down to a net, right? Yeah. Okay. Let me back up. So technically this is a non-business owner net. And what do I mean? I mean, it's a non-business owner net because most real estate agents don't track their expenses. So they don't have a final net number. So what we're doing is we're calling this our net. We're saying after all splits, here is our net. Okay. I know that you have now annual expenses and monthly expenses, blah, 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 but we're not counting all that. Right. Okay. I'm going to give you guys 2 more minutes.
Just for this example, right?
For this example, if you are a business owner in here, then drill down deeper. You know how to drill down deeper. By the way, we are crushing it on time, and I mean crushing it, doing so well. It's incredible. So I'm going to give you guys 60 more seconds, and don't worry, before we proceed, I'm going to ask if anyone needs more time. All right, stand by, guys. We're still here. I'm just giving everyone time to do what they need to do, figure out what they need to figure out. These numbers are important. I told you this is where we're going to take the most amount of time. I'm going to give you a hack when we're done these numbers. It's going to make life so simple and understandable. You're going to just fall in love with it. All right, if you look at the chat, this is the best way I can give you this formula. Elizabeth had asked if we can put the formula in the chat, and this is the best way I can give you this formula. Excuse me. this formula without all the details that I explained as we go. But please remember that someone in your room has figured out their numbers. So create the room and ask for the help. All right, we're going to keep moving. Here we go. Here's what this is most important. I need everyone to lock back in. Actually, first, let me do this. I promised I would. If you need more time, be vulnerable right now and write time in the chat. Because if you do not write time in the chat, I promise you, you're going to be in trouble moving forward. Like you're going to be in trouble moving forward. So please, I'm asking you to write time in the chat if you need more time. Because we are doing great on time. I can give you guys more time. Okay, I'm going to give you guys some more time. Keep working on it. I'm going to give you guys some more time. All right, guys, like I said, we are doing great on time. And because of that, I want to keep us on time. So that is your time. I'm going to make sure that you guys have everything you need. And I want to continue to be able to do that for you. So if you are a Shift Immersive coaching member, remember, if you're a Shift Immersive coaching member, remember that we have shift sessions tomorrow. I am happy to work and build out anything you guys would like on our shift coaching sessions tomorrow. If you're not a coaching member, I've got something for you, so just stay tuned. But make sure if you are a coaching member, you go into the events section of the vault and you ensure that you are RSVP'd for tomorrow's shift sessions and really all of our shift coaching sessions. With that said, I want to remind you guys that we are going to pick one person and they are going to, based on your shares, every time you share and post and tag me and or Shift Immersive Coaching, you're going to get your name in the slot for a tote bag. You're going to get the journal and you're going to get the the water bottle. And on top of that, you're going to get a copy of exactly what to say, but the specific copy where I personally wrote the forward for Phil Jones. All right, let's keep rocking. What's next? Yes, my glasses are on because I am hurting up here right now. So Nadia has a question. What do you got, Nadia?
Bill, I wrote it on the chat. Can you help me with the potential number? You know, the real brokerage split of 85-15 until we're capped. That's confusing to figure that out. Can you help me with that?
So you're going to take your, let's assume your number was, so you don't have to think about the $6,000 because all you have to do is track that 15% is going to come out until you get to 6. So rather, you don't have to think about the 15%, you got to think about the 6,000. So if you made $100,000 or whatever number you made, you're going to take 6,000 out. But you specifically would then need to determine exactly how many units you did beyond the cap. And then you're going to take out your per transaction fee. And you're going to have to do that math against whatever your team splits are too, based on how your team pays out. Because some teams, the broker fee comes out first. Some teams, the team split comes out first. So I don't and cannot, because we're going to share this on YouTube, I cannot break down yours hyper specifically. But tomorrow in the Shift Vault, we can work together and knock it out. Okay? Love it. Cool. All right. Yes, for those of you who don't know me, for those of you who this is the first time you're spending time with me, your answer is yes. You were wondering, can this guy get more handsome? Yes, I put on glasses and bam, he's more handsome. Just like that, it happens. I know what you're thinking. I would say I'm surprised, but I'm not. I already knew it. So that's that. Nick Dively, you accidentally did a thumbs down. You meant a thumbs up. So I'm just going to do that for you. It's all about how we do simple swaps and how we see life. Okay, so what's next? We have this number now, right? So we have this. Thank you, folks, for the love. Thank you for the love. Okay. And Nick, by the way, if you don't know, is on our team. Man, let me do another simple swap. Nick used to be on our team. When I walk out of the studio, he will no longer be. But let's dive in. So now we have our number, right? And with this number, what are we doing? This is the most important part of what we just created. All you're doing is you're going to go back to your personal number. You remember that personal number in order to sustain? You remember that number you had, like, hey, I need on an annual basis to generate this much money to exist. If your number that you just came up with is less than what you need to exist, then we have to make one adjustment. And that adjustment works like this. You're simply going to go back to your unit goal number. The only adjustment you make is you're going to go to your unit goal number and you're just going to go up. Because what is the point of working so you can't pay your bills? It doesn't make sense. So the first thing is, if your unit goal number, now watch this, cannot pay your personal bills, your personal existence, bills and all things that you need in order to exist, you're going to raise that number. Now, some of you already started doing it, but hold on, because I'm going to throw a wrench in your number you started working. The next thing you need to do is start thinking about a number we haven't talked about, but Matt Soto alluded to. What does it cost to run your business? Because that's business sustainability. That's this right here. Well, right now, for the sake of time, you're going to estimate. If you know the number, great. If you don't, you're going to create an estimate. But when we're done today, you're going to go find the exact number. What did it cost per transaction to sustain my business? Multiply that by the unit number, and that is what it will cost to sustain your business in 2026, you could presume. So you're then going to add personal existence, business sustainability, add that number together. If the net number you came up with a moment ago does not exceed that number, you got to increase your units. Okay, hold on a second. Well, Phil, I want my business to grow, brother. Great. What budget will you allocate towards business growth in 2026? Please pause. Everyone, I am asking you with love and respect to put your eyes on me. If you do not allocate a budget for personal and business growth, you are not in business. You are pretending. I do not care if it's $1,000 for the year and you're going to spend $30 on books all year and listen to audiobooks until you spend $1,000. I don't care if it's $50,000 and you're going to get into the highest, most expensive, most intentional rooms you ever possibly could and go to every event you could. Your number doesn't matter. The simple fact that you have a number, you need to think about what does it cost to list a house. You got to think about what does it cost if you have an office to pay your rent, your water bill, your electricity, and everything else. Yes, we are making a life business plan, not just we spent 3 hours together and we're never going to look at this again plan. We're being intentional. So I want you guys to really think about this for a moment. I'm going to give you 3 minutes, no more, because if you do not know the number, you are going to estimate. The easiest way to estimate this is how much money am I willing to commit in 2026 towards personal development? What does it typically cost on average for a listing? How many listings will I be doing in 2026 based on the percentage of buyer to listing that I already calculated? Add those numbers together, add 10% onto that, use that as your number. I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes. Have fun. If you have questions, ask them. I'm here.
What was the third one?
Hang on here, guys. So I'm going to ask everyone to stay on mute if you are not talking. Okay. So Kevin, I believe what you're talking about is we had personal development, we had cost to list, and then your additional expenses, right? Those additional costs to run your business. And then you're going to add 10%. If someone would go ahead and put that in the chat for everyone, that'd be awesome. Okay, now, no, forgive me. I'm going to give you guys some more time. Keep working. I'm here. Keep working. And don't worry, we are doing great on time. Please remember, I told you there's 6.5 phases of our time together today. If you're curious, we are on phase 1.5. Matt's laughing his head off. That's okay, because this is the longest phase because it requires the most intention. I see you, Matt. Oh, you got your book, brother. Love you, dude. Love you. I talked to Dan Martell. Terry, the reason you didn't get a book is because I don't love you. I love Matt. Okay, I said that out loud for everyone to see. Now, I love you too. There's one on the way. Don't you worry about it. Susan with the thumbs down. Come on.
I did that because I wanted to see Terry's reaction.
Yeah, I know. There you go. There you go. All right.
Matt, I'm not mad about the thing because we started the book club on that a month and a half ago, remember?
That's awesome. I lost my tea. My tea has disappeared. All right, let's keep rolling here now, guys, because we're doing great on time, but I want to stay great on time. So here we go. Let's keep rocking. Now that you have that number, what are you going to do? You're going to go back and you're going to say, okay, does that number actually exceed, or is it lower than the amount of money I need for what? Because there's now personal life to exist, business sustainability, business growth. But look at the slide. Let me show you guys something because we're missing something. What are we missing? Personal joy. I have never understood why people would bang their head against a wall to get a deal done. And then as soon as the deal is done, they move on to the next deal. Like you didn't just create a headache for yourself to get the deal done. Folks, you must celebrate. You must have joy in the fact that you've accomplished something in business that honestly few people do. So now what you're going to do is you are going to decide. This is just you. Someone say, well, how do you figure it out? You pick a number. What is the amount of money in 2026 you are going to allocate for personal joy? And here's the reason for this. Because what most people do is they say personal life, personal joy, business sustainability, business growth. Nah, man, you earn the personal joy part. You don't just say, I'm in business, I made some money, so I'm gonna spend 50% on it and go on vacation. That's not how it works. If your business is going under, you shouldn't be on vacation, you should be in the office. There's a difference. So work ethic becomes hyper important here. And then the last thing you're gonna do, you don't need time on that because it's just you picking a number, right? You're gonna decide on what your number is. The last thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go back to that net number and you're gonna say, after I added everything up, do I need to increase my unit count for 2026? If you need to increase it, you're going to increase the unit count. You're going to continue to work the formula on the buy side and the sell side when it comes to unit count until your net number for 2026 allows you to personally exist, sustain your business, grow your business, and enjoy life. And when you do that, folks, you have the numbers for your 2026 business plan. It's that simply complicated. You see what I did there? Simply complicated. Yeah, that's all it takes. Now, let me share something with y'all that I think is just going to be really important. Okay, so James, let me stop. James said, what about savings and investing? That's existing. 10% of all you earn must go into savings at the minimum. Hey guys, recently, and if you didn't see this, I really want to encourage you guys to turn on your notifications on Instagram for me personally. Recently, I put 7 books on Instagram that I believe you need to read in 2026 or listen to. One of those books were The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. You see, saving money and investing money, that is a necessity. It's not a nicety. No, having a nest egg, necessity. Being able to take advantage of God properties. What are God properties? It's we're in real estate and someone comes to us with an incredible deal, and instead of us listing the house, we give them an offer. Being able to do that, that is a necessity. Treat it as such. That is part of personal life existence. All right. So someone's not on mute. I'm going to ask you guys to make sure you stay on mute for me. Okay. So with that said, we're going to keep moving here. Now what you've done is you figured out your number. So the only thing I want to ask you is this. Do you feel overwhelmed with the amount of units you need to now do for the year in order to sustain your life, in order to build and sustain your business, in order to build and grow your business, and in order to enjoy life? Because if you do, then change your personal joy number. Adjust some of the things that you think are necessities, but they're really not necessities. You're just spending money on them and calling them necessities. Here's a great example. Starbucks, not a necessity. Well, someone says, well, I buy Starbucks beans and I make the coffee at home. Still not a necessity. Your grocery store has a grocery store brand coffee. Drink that. Yeah, that's the truth. Someone's going to say, well, do I really have to make those types of adjustments to my lifestyle? No, you don't. But you don't get to not make those adjustments to your lifestyle and then argue when you're not living the lifestyle you want to live. You know, like I know that a lot of people are going to take you through business plans and they're going to promise you the whole world and tell you to dream big and blah, blah, blah. And you're just never going to look at that again. I'd just rather be hyper pragmatic. Let's just build the truth so that we can live our truth. Super simple. Let's keep moving. Time is a ticking and we are a winning. So what's next, guys? Well, I'm going to tell you what's next. What's next is how we execute. That's right. How we execute. So the first thing we're going to think about when we're thinking about execution is this. Stop over-indexing ability versus time. Stop over-indexing ability versus time. More time is the reality. What do I mean? The amount of work you will need to do in order to accomplish the goal you just created is far more than you believe. So I am going to encourage you. Thank you, Arabella. Arabella just brought me more tea. I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm going to say it out loud. Everyone needs an Arabella. If you don't have one, you can't have mine, but you need to find your own. Okay? Because that's it. Like I'm like, oh, she can hear it. Boom, tea just pops up out of space. Anyway, that's a personal thing. Whatever. Moving on. Stop over-indexing on ability. What am I ultimately saying? I know you're great at listings. I know you are the coolest thing out since pants with pockets. I know you're the hottest thing out since sliced bread. I get it. But the truth is, if you don't have the numbers to back it, stop pretending. You have to take. Now, here's the kicker. Most people are going to say, well, whatever amount of time you think that it's going to take, you just add 10% to it. I'm going to tell you what I would do if I were you. Now, you do whatever you want. But here's what I would do. Whatever amount of time and action you think it will take in order to achieve your goal, I want you to, let's say your number was 100 of what you need to do. Like, I need to make 100 calls. I want you to take half of that number and add it to your number. I want you to make your number 150 because it's not 100. I promise you it's not. It's more than you think. So just take your number, cut it in half, add the half to it. That's it. That's all you're going to do. All right. So now I'm going to show you a different way. Now, hashtag unfair advantage. We are going to go through this in hyper detail on Wednesday for my real estate team, but I'm going to give you guys it right now too. All right. So here we go. What I want to do with you is I want to show you exactly what we're going to do to really create success with these numbers that some people think are pretty darn daunting. And this is brand new page. This is called quarter-based execution. That's right, quarter-based execution. So what's quarter-based execution? Quarter-based execution is really simple. The average person creates a plan that they're going to work for the year. The average person stops working that plan in the middle of January. That's how the world works. You can say, I'm going to change the whole world, or you can just accept that as truth. What we're going to do is we're going to say we're business owners. Business owners typically have more business acumen, and they can extend their attention and mission and intention longer. So we're going to say we can work for 90 days. So we are no longer going to work for a year. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to take your goals for the year, and I want you to divide them by 4. That's your unit goal, your volume goal, and your GCI goal. I want you to divide them by 4. Your unit goal, your volume goal, your GCI goal. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing in 2026 matters more than Q1. Nothing in 2026 matters more than Q1. Do not think about Q2. Do not think about your year. All we're doing is working towards Q1. But now that we have our goal, we have to go back to our pillars of business, because that's the how we're going to do it. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your frequency of consistency for your hustle pillar and your top of mind pillar, and you're going to say, if I did that for 1 quarter, how many times would I be doing the thing? So if you say, well, I'm going to call expires Monday through Friday. I'm going to call expires Monday through Friday for 1 year straight. And it doesn't matter what it is. So that means that's 52 weeks. I'm just going to take 52. I'm going to divide that by 4. And that means 13. I'm going to call for 13 weeks. There's 5 days in my business week. So that means I'm going to make 65 days of calls. Now, when you read The Richest Man in Babylon, you're going to learn a lesson. And that lesson is, if a man gives his word and commits that he's going to throw 1 stone over a bridge every day as he passes that bridge, he will not skip 2 days and then one day decide to throw 3 stones in hopes of catching up. There is no catching up. There's only honoring your word. And the reason there's only honoring your word is because no one forces you to give it. So be careful with your goals. Terry, give it to me. What do you got?
So one thing I struggle with is I put a plan in place. Like, let's just say for this week, I have a plan. I'm going to do business planning today. I'm going to record tomorrow. I'm going to do all the things. But then someone calls and they're like, I want to see a house. And I'm in the middle of a business planning session. Do I cancel the business planning session and go show that house because that's how I need to make money?
No.
So that's part of, we have to put our time. Well, I'm saying this wrong.
I got
so
you.
if I say I need to make money making activities, but I've already got something scheduled from 8 to 10. No matter what the schedule of the other person is, I need to stick to my schedule.
For all of my life, I've looked at life this exact way. Now, you can say all of your life, Phil, you mean as an adult? I mean, no, even as a child. I don't know why, other than my weird, kooky brain. If my grandmother was in the hospital and I was there visiting her and work called, would I leave my grandmother to die alone and go to work? Or would I tell work I'm not coming and stay with my grandmother? Why are you putting more value on showing the house than honoring your word? That's my take. You said you're going to call from 8 to 10, Monday through Friday, which means short of an emergency with a loved one, you are going to call from 8 to 10, Monday through Friday, no matter what. But here's what you get to do. Absolutely. I'd love to show you that house. So I'm on appointments right now. The next thing I can do is I can meet you at 11:30. Because the reality is, if you were in a listing appointment, guys, for a $20 million house, you would not leave that listing appointment to show a $1,500 a month rental. So let's stop pretending we would. Let's stop devaluing the effort it takes to build the business we want. And let's start honoring the word. And Terry knows I'm not talking just to Terry. I'm talking with everyone. We must honor our word to ourselves. For some reason, humans are so darn good at saying, because I only told myself, I don't have to actually do it. No, because you only told yourself, God heard you, so you better freaking do it. That's it. Like, that's it. There is just no more to it. Just do what you say you're going to do, no matter what. It's crazy. I love you, Terry. You know that. Let's come back. Quarter-based execution. So quarter-based execution works like this. Step one, here we go. We're going to build the vision in reverse, which we've been doing. So here's what I want to do as we continue to build the vision in reverse. I want you now to ask yourself a question. As it pertains to revenue, listing, referrals, and lifestyle, what does December 31st look like? Yep, I'm going to slow down because we did this on a purely personal perspective. I want you to quickly, in 60 seconds or less, write down as it pertains to revenue, listings, referrals, and lifestyle. What does December 31st look like? I'm going to put those 4 in the chat for anyone that needs them. You have revenue. You have listings. You have referrals. And you have lifestyle. Now, something I want to say while you guys are writing down what that looks like for you is this. Too many real estate agents are really good at giving away free business without generating revenue. So here is your hack. When you find a client that is not good for you, stop firing your darn client. Find an agent they're good for and get a referral in your market. What that means is you need to build relationships with the agents in your market so you figure out what type of personalities they have so that you can connect with them. And you realize when someone is like, go, 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 frantic, and that's not your style, you just find a go, 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 frantic agent and say, hey, look, I'm just thinking about this. I think I know, I want to work with you, but I think I know someone better. I think I know someone that's better for you. And look, the reality is this is really about you, then this just isn't fair. I have to connect you with Terry. Connect, because what you're going to end up doing is collecting no money and giving a bunch of effort when you can give nearly no effort and collect some money. So referrals need to be tracked properly and need to be built properly so that you build as a business and not just a one-off. Okay, so now that you have that, you're just going to break down. In Q4, remember, everything's in reverse. In Q4, what do you need to finish in order to make December 31st look like we just said? I'm actually going to type these in the chat. I know I'm going to lose some folks if I don't. So Q4, what do you need to finish? In Q3, so again, these are actively going in the chat. What do you need to grow? In Q2, what do you need to build? And in Q1, what do you need to start? And all we're doing is we're adjusting the different directions and phases of our business to make sure we live on a quarter-based concept, which means in Q1, it is the quarter of starting. It is the quarter of starting. That's all you're doing. Let's start this. Let's get it going. Let's go. Not starting everything, not trying everything, not having shiny penny freaking syndrome. Do not get sold by the next cool thing. Start doing the things that actually freaking work. How do you know if it works? Get in the rooms where people have worked them and can prove that they worked. And then do the things that you want to do to build your business. In Q2, now that you started it, how can I level it up and build? What do I need to add operationally, systematically to build that aspect of my business so that it continues? In Q3, what do I need to grow? What do I need to do to myself to make sure I can catch up to the production I hope to have at the end of the year? And in Q4, how do I finish freaking strong? What do I need to do to finish strong so that I don't say, oh, I'm just going to, that's enough. It's not enough. The year ends on the 31st of December at 11:59 p.m. and 59 seconds. Now, excuse me, forgive me. Someone's going to say, well, Phil, my year actually ends on the 15th of December. Great. Maybe you're the type of person that says by the 15th of December, you accomplish all your goals and you take the last 2 weeks of the month and you recharge. Great. Congratulations. That's it. The 24th of December, my year ends. I do not start again until the 4th of January. I have worked my entire life this way, my entire life. The 24th of December, my year ends. The 4th of January, I start again. That's my fill time. It's just my fill time. Now, it's not to say I'm not going to talk to someone or do a little business here or do a little business there, but it's not, the business I do in that window of time is not to start, build, grow, or finish. That's just the one-off here and there. Now, okay, hold on one second. Let me see some questions. Listing number for December 31, is that closed and pending or listings taken into Q1? 31 December is fully closed. Pending listings, those all transfer into Q1 of next year. 31 December is fully closed. Terry said, how many personal days does a high producing agent take to mentally reset? That's an awesome question. I have the answer to that. I'm going to ask you guys to hold 1 second. I love you guys. Remember, under the weather. All right, so here we go. The answer to your question is as many as you need. No one gets to tell you what you need to reset. Bottom line. The reason why so many people in our industry are not what they could be, they are seemingly surface level successful, but they are not what they could be, is because they keep looking at the surface of other people's business and they think that's the root of their business. Guys, there is someone you should compare yourself to. And I hate to tell you, but it's not another business owner. It's you. Did you do your best? That's it. Well, Phil, I can't do my best if I don't take a week and go to the beach and relax. Congratulations. Now you're going to recharge for a week at the beach. Well, Phil, I can't do my best if I don't take off this Friday. Here, let me just explain this to you guys. As soon as we're done, I'm going home. My plan was to be in this office all evening. I'm going home. I feel like I'm dying. I'm so sick right now. It's insane. Tomorrow, I'm going to join you guys with shift sessions and I'm going home. Wednesday, I have a team meeting. I'm going to do that. We're going to do our build out and I'm going home. That's okay. I need to heal myself. There is something called diminishing returns. Sometimes you push yourself so hard that you actually go backwards. Don't do that. Listen to yourself. If you need the recharge, take it, because the best you is the best for other people, but any other version is simply not. Let's keep rocking here. Step 2, that was step 1, build a vision in reverse. That was Q4, 3, 2, and 1. Step 2 is focus on 1 quarter at a time. You're starting to get that. We kind of talked about that actually, so I'm not going to harp on this. Focus on 1 quarter at a time. So Q1, we're building. Let me give you an example of some things. So in that build phase for Q1, right? Or like, forgive me, I said build. I did not mean build. I meant start. Forgive me. In the start phase in Q1, maybe you're going to start a new lead generation tool. Maybe you're going to start working with a new CRM. Maybe you're going to start maybe you're going to hire someone on your team that's going to help with your operations. It's a start phase. An example of Q2, maybe you're going to say, all right, well, I'm going to build more listings, meaning all your content is going to be hyper listing focused and listing based. Q3, maybe you're going to like build a system to really like grow your since in Q2 you built, maybe you're going to activate a system to elevate your referrals like we talked about, right? In Q4, like how can you scale up to finish strong? What do you need to do if you're a team leader? What type of meetings and sessions do you need to have with your team to really make sure everyone finishes strong? Step 3. This is really important. You're doing this straight away. Choose your KPIs. Choose your KPIs. Remember how we talked about tracking? KPIs are key performance indicators. For the folks that don't know, it's okay. KPIs are key performance indicators. You do not manage what you don't measure. So choose what you will manage. How do I know what I should choose? It's based on your hustle pillars and your top of mind pillars. Guys, I'm going to say something real quickly. Someone here is going to figure out that I have not talked about leads yet. I have not said you get Zillow leads, you get homes.com leads, you get sold.com leads, you get referral leads from whatever, blah, 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 blah. The reason I will not talk to you about leads is simple. If your team or your brokerage is giving you business, your team or your brokerage owns your business. I'm not telling you not to take leads. I'm telling you leads are extra. Build a business first and or in conjunction with leads. But you cannot effectively run. Imagine this for a moment. I was telling someone this yesterday. I don't recall who it was, but imagine this for a moment. I give you leads and that's your whole business. And then one day I'm driving to the office and someone cuts me off. And I'm angry and I've got road rage and I pull into the office and I park and you're the first person I see. And then I just take it out on you. And the way I take it out on you is I say, you know what, you're off leads. Your whole business is over because you haven't spent time actually building a business that will grow and work with you. My second year in real estate, I told you my first year, I sold 38 homes. My second year, I sold 64 homes. Why? It wasn't leads. It was because I had hustle pillars and top of mind pillars, and they continued to grow. I know everyone wants it right now. Unfortunately, that's not how business works. The way business works is you have to do the work to make the business work. Let's move on. Step 4, and then we're gonna shift. Sprint, reflect, reset. Step 4, sprint, reflect, reset. One more time, sprint, reflect, reset. I'm going to pause on this for a moment. I'm going to answer Susan. Susan said, should we also build the vision in reverse for our lifestyle dreams, family dreams, life goals? Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. That's what we started and did earlier, right? So earlier, when we first started together, we said, what's your end game? And then we reverse engineered. Okay, if that's your end game, what does 10 years from now look like? What does 5 years from now look like? What does 1 year from now look like? That was about life. That was not about business. That was about life. Because if we don't know where we're going, then we don't know why we're working, right? So we have to figure those out. Okay, so someone asked what those were. Number 3. Someone said what number 3 was, and number 3 was choose your KPIs. Step 3 was choose your KPIs. What are you going to track? That was step 3. All right, step 4 again, sprint, reflect, reset. Guys, what we often do is we work all year to get to a point where we're burnt out and we say, I need some time off, similar to what Terry was talking about and asking. I want to encourage you guys to understand there is no more year, there's only quarters. You are going to run as hard as you possibly freaking can all quarter. All right, we're going to pause. You are not going to run as hard as Phil. You are not going to run as hard as Ikra. You are not going to run as hard as Cassie or Neff or Kelsey. No, you're going to run as hard as you can and be okay with it. But here's the catch. You're going to run as hard as you can, not as hard as you want to. What that means is simple. And again, I've lived this way my entire life. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, but I'm here to share with you what I would be doing and what I will do. Stop saying, if, then I will. Instead say, I said so, so consider it done. Stop saying, if I feel okay, then I'll do it. Stop saying, if I really wanna, then I'll do it. Stop saying, if, then I'll do it. No, I said I would, so it's done. That's it. Put your money on me. You are going to work and run as hard as you can all quarter long. And at the end of the quarter, you're going to reflect. Well, what are you going to reflect on? Well, it's not a feel-good session, guys. It's what worked. This quarter, what really worked? That's all you're looking for. And then you're going to reset. But how do you reset? You reset through a recommitment. It's not a reset where you start over. You recommit to the things that did, D-I-D. You recommit to the things that did work. You recommit to replacing what didn't work. And that's what you're going to do at the end of every single quarter. Now, here's a hack. Put a star next to it. Don't do step 4 alone. Build your room. You know, that room of people that are just like you, that are willing to run as hard as you're willing to run, that are willing to work, that 10 years from now, you're going to be on beaches together celebrating with their families and your family. You know, those group of people that you met in real estate, but somehow, some way, they are now your absolute best friends in life, and you talk and work through absolutely everything. Get in a room with them and freaking set. But guys, you got to do it. I know what people are saying. Well, does everyone really do that? Yeah. All the people you're looking at their business and you're saying, man, their business is amazing. I wish. They freaking do it. That's what they do. So get in your rooms. All right, ladies and gentlemen, quarter-based execution. What this ultimately does is it takes the stress away. It takes the idea of, I think I failed because I don't know my numbers. It takes all that away. It gives you clarity. It gives you agility. It gives you momentum. You're no longer pushing for this 12-month goal that no one is going to stay focused on for 12 months straight. You're crushing 90-day sprints. You do it with intention. You do it with power, and you get the job done. This is how you win your entire year, folks. One quarter at a time. With that said, and with utter love, I'm going to give you a simple hack. And then we're going to take a break. All right, here's your hack. Your slide, and here's your hack. Because this is going to be like, dude, why did you go through like 2 hours of everything you just went through if this is the actual hack? Well, here's the hack. None of this is going to work. Yeah. So prepare your contingencies. Mike Tyson said everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Guess what? One of the best boxers on planet Earth in the history of planet Earth wasn't wrong. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. This isn't gonna work how you expect. So plan for your what ifs. So I want you to write this down. I want you to write down, if this fails, what's my backup plan? If this fails, what's my backup plan? One more time. If this fails, what's my backup plan? And now I want to stress something to you. Someone heard, if real estate fails, what's my backup plan? That is not what I said. If this fails, the this we are referencing is the single action you're doing for your hustle pillar when you are reviewing your KPIs and you realize you are off track. What is your backup plan to get back on track? That is what we're talking about. Here's an example. Look, I want to perfectly wake up in the morning and go to the gym every single day. I do. I want to perfectly wake up in the morning and go to the gym every single day. But here's the kicker. Sometimes it doesn't happen. So I just perfectly go to the gym at night. It's called my backup plan. But I live a crazy lifestyle and my schedule is absurd. For an example, some of you guys know I have a 17-year-old son and a 14-year-old daughter, and I have a rule with my children, and it is if I am in the state, I will never miss a game. I am not willing to do it. If I'm in the state, I'm at the game. So guess what? Sometimes the games happen in the middle of my day, and they get all over my schedule. It adjusts everything, which pushes me back. So guess what I had to do? I had to decide to find a gym I could go to, not that I liked, but that was open 24 hours a day. Yeah, that's right. My gym has a key card. I can go there 24 hours a day. Here's the one thing I won't do: skip the gym. Well, Phil, hold on a second. You said earlier that you talked to your trainer and you're super sick and your trainer said, don't work out today. You remember earlier also where I said, get in the room with people doing better than you? I look really, really good with my shirt off. My trainer looks like a god with his shirt off. He's doing much better than me. So I just do what he says. I get myself in a room with people that can help me. When it's hard, tell me what to do. When it's not working out, tell me what to do. And he said, Phil, you're crazy. Diminishing returns. If you go to the gym, you will hurt yourself more than you help yourself. Go home and sleep. That's what you need. Recently, I used to work out 7 days a week. Literally this week, yesterday, my trainer said, we're going to 5 days a week. I said, dude, okay, well, hold on a second. I really like exercise. So is it okay if I go walk, like a 3-mile walk on Saturday? He said, it's fine. Tell you what, you can do anything you want that's not resistance training on Saturdays and Sundays. Otherwise, you work out Monday through Friday. It's about being in the room with people that are better than you. James, I never skip leg day. I think you're talking about yourself when you look in the mirror. Yeah. All right. Steve, do not fall into James's trap. Okay. All right. So you guys got it. The ultimate hack is prepare your contingencies, because I am here to tell you everything we just said will not work. So prepare for when it doesn't. If this fails, what's the backup plan? Contingencies, guys, they prevent you from abandoning your plan, because what ends up happening is you don't say, it's not working, I got to figure out something new. You say, oh, this just happened. I planned for this. This is what we do. So plan your contingencies. And the last part is, as it pertains to contingencies, I will argue this is the most important aspect of this section. I will argue this is the most important aspect of this section. So lock in with me. Who else needs to be bought in? We talked about this a little bit earlier. Every time I do anything as it pertains to business, every time I commit to, I'm going to start this business, I'm going to make a shift, it's going to pull my time and my energy out, I have a family meeting. And I say, what do you guys think? Hey, Ethan, hey, Emma, Dad's gonna this, it's gonna be this. And my kids are awesome. They're always like, Dad, like, we're teenagers, we don't want to hang out with you anyway, so it's all good. Go do what you're gonna do. But guys, what's the point of building it and working so darn hard if the people you did it for aren't there when you get home? Make sure everyone's on board. But we have a rule. If you're not on board, you have to be able to clearly articulate why. Because I just don't wanna, that's not an answer. That's not how business people work. And we're training great humans to be great in life, to be great in business and the things they decide they want to do with life. So what that means is we need to make sure they know how to clearly articulate their feelings with cause, with intention. On that note, I'm going to ask for a minute here. That was the ultimate hack. I'm going to ask you, does anyone have any questions? Man, we're doing a lot today. We got 1 hour left. Well, 1 hour and 7 minutes. We're doing a lot. We're still in phase 1.5. Don't worry. All the other phases go super fast. Any questions? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. Don't come to me later and say, can you go back 3 slides? All right, here we go. Next. This is an easy one. This is an easy one because I believe that this is something super important. What really matters, right? What truly matters. Let's build it. So here's what I mean. Amy and Kelsey, we talked about this. as we're thinking about our year, I want to encourage you. No, I'm not being sarcastic. We go from, wait. Oh, wait, are we supposed to be done? Oh my gosh. Bro, I had that totally wrong. That's
This
okay.
is definitely a Phil session because we never end on time.
Yeah, we never do. That's all right. I'll clean it up. We won't go that long. Forgive me. I had it totally wrong, but that's okay. Because here's the deal. I want to give you these. We're going to wrap up. So that means I'm not going to give you Q&A and I'm not going to take a break, but we're going to wrap these up. This one is super fast. Minimum standards of excellence. As we think about what 2026 is going to be, what are your minimum standards of excellence? Not only for you, but for your team if you're a team leader, your brokerage if you're a broker. A minimum standard of excellence. Here's how it works. If people say, well, the minimum we do on our team is 4 deals per year, that's not excellence. Like, what is your minimum standard of excellence? Here's how you think about this. You say to yourself, as it pertains to my minimum standards of excellence, our minimum standard is everyone else's goal. What if that's how you worked your business? The minimum I will do is the thing that people strive to accomplish. So that's the whole point in this slide. Minimum standards of excellence. That's it. All right. Next, we're wrapping. See, I told you, I'm just going to wrap it. I got it. You know why I can do this? You know why I can make us finish on the time slot or really close to it? Contingencies. That's it, man. It's like actually showing you it happening. Prepare your contingencies. Next, stick to the plan. But measure, iterate, alter, and abandon. This is one of the biggest things that I see people not do. And I want to encourage you that every quarter during that reconciliation time, during that reset time, when you're thinking about, is this working? I want you to measure everything as you're doing it all year. I want you to iterate. I want you to be willing to alter. And if you need to abandon something, get freaking rid of it. Get rid of it. If it's now, not if you're not working it, but if it's not working, there is a difference. The best way to tell if it's not working, and then we're going to move on. The best way to tell if it's not working is to get in that room and have someone do a reconciliation of that aspect of your business that you trust. That is not someone that you think is good and you trust them, but someone that's already doing it, something similar or that thing, and ask them, is it working or is it me? And then when you do that, you can figure out if you need to make the adjustment or if that aspect of your business just isn't the right aspect of your business. Any questions on that? Oh my goodness, we're almost done with this. Okay, here we go. Next, this is a good one. I kind of feel like they're all good. Close the loop, build the web. As we're thinking about how we're building all this out and we're going to do the work after the work, here's what I want to encourage you to understand. The work after the work is going to require you to build the web. So there's 5 phases of the web I'm going to encourage you to build. And then there's sub phases. So I will give you these. I will type them in the chat. Here we go. Number 1, we start with personal. So you're literally building a web. All right, personal. After personal, in your web, let me see if I can, am I cool enough? I'm not. I'm pretty cool, but I'm not cool enough. All right, so personal. After personal, it's about business. After business, it's the actions for personal and business. Build a life and a business web. Close the loop, build the web. So after personal, it's business. After business, it's actions. These are the actions for personal and business. After actions, it's metrics. Remember, we're tracking. So in your web, what do I need to track for said action for business? What do I need to track for said action for personal? And lastly, it's contingencies. And your contingencies are just going to work just like your metrics, right? You're going to say, what are the contingencies that I need to put in place if something is not going as I see fit for all of the actions that feed the business and personal? When you do this, you create something that's scalable and replicatable. It's a proper framework. The reason why we build a web is simple, because this all works best. I don't know if you guys know, but it absolutely all works best when it's visual. when it's up and you can see it every day and you can't hide from it. So that's why I want you to build this web. Someone's going to get really cool, get really funky, and they're going to build all this. They're going to hire an artist to actually really make it nice, and they're going to put it up. So we were going to take a break. We're not. Q&A. There's something I want you guys to see, so I'm going to give it to you. I want everyone to grab your phones, get it quick, get your phones out, and this is where I'm going. For you, ladies and gentlemen, that are not coaching members, this is your opportunity to join us. This is your opportunity to be a part of what we're going to do tomorrow, where we pick up on a marketing aspect of our business plan. This is an opportunity for you to decide, hey, yeah, I want to elevate my business for 2026, and I need some partnership in it. You folks, there's 3 levels of coaching. There's Shift, there's Shift Pro, and there's now Shift One-on-One, launching officially 1 January. Now, here's something I want you guys to know. Shift, what is that for? Who is that for? That's for everyone, anyone, new, old, doesn't matter. Someone building their business. Coaching is not something that has to cost everything. It doesn't have to be an arm and a leg. Coaching with Shift at the Shift level is $149 a month. Scan the QR code, get set up. You will be set up today, and you'll be part of everything we're doing today. Pro level, well, that's for people that are executing at a high level. They're team leaders, they're brokers, they're broker owners, they're solo agents that are really killing it, that are ready to go to that next level. That's $499 a month. And one-on-one, here's the catch. There's only 10 spots. That's right. Someone's going to say, whether you're a coaching member or not, if you're thinking about one-on-one coaching, this is weekly coaching with me. If you're thinking, hey, well, he said there's 10 spots, but I know that there's going to be an extra spot. There's not. There's not. We already did the math. We already know the coaching timelines and the timeframes, and there's no time for more. So there's 10 spots and 1 has already been taken. So there are now 9 more spots for one-on-one. Ladies and gentlemen, decide where you are. If you want more information on all of these, just go to getshiftcoaching.com, scan this QR code, and let's rock and roll. This has been a lot of fun. This has been different. It's been about building the life we want over the course of life that we want. But ultimately, what it's not about is pretending we're going to do something we're not. So my encouragement to you is to get in the right rooms, get involved with coaching, and let's get it done. Ladies and gentlemen, wait a minute. There's a question. Go for it. Come off mute. Dive in. What you got? Can't hear you. You're still mute. Hold space bar. I think that'll help you. I don't know. I think it's possible.
Hey, feel better.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I do. I appreciate it. On that note, guys, look, I finish everything the exact same way because I mean it with all of my heart. I love you. There's just no way around it. I love you, and God loves you, and there is nothing you will ever do about it. So God bless you. This has been an absolute joy. I hope to see so many of you guys taking part in Shift Immersive Coaching moving forward. And if you don't, I'm still here to support you and still here to help you. So again, God bless, and you're welcome. I see all the thank yous and everything in the chat. I'm looking forward to our Shift sessions tomorrow. Holy smokes. I'm done. God bless. We're out. See ya.